Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a Team Inferno stream. But today we got a very special tournament going on today. My name is Pre Avengers, and I am joined here by the lovely Why Not. And
I'm here and I'm ready and I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be awesome. A lot of talent, a great cause, and a fantastic organization.
yeah, so if you don't know us, we are Team Inferno, and our mission is to create a networking opportunity for BIPOC representation in higher tier attorneys. And that is exactly what we're going to be trying to do here today with Be the Change 2. So we have had this tournament before, so you may or may not remember it from a couple years ago. But basically, how it works is we have invited 20 captains, pros, and content creators that we thought really fit our mission. And the 20 captains, funny enough, get to go ahead and draft their POIs, but they also get two random teammates after every two games. So a little random royale style, if you're familiar with that. Not super common in Apex Legends in these type of tournaments. So we're excited to showcase that for you guys here today.
Yeah, really excited about that. I feel like it's going to test how well you're able to adapt to any given situation. Obviously, you're going to have to jump into a team and really gel with them immediately and try to climb your way up to wins or as many kills as possible as well. We'll talk about the format later. But on top of that, after two games, totally switching up, the vibes, the energy, and maybe the skill level of your teammates. Honestly, that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these teams, again, like you just mentioned, because it's random, don't know each other very well. They may have heard of each other. Maybe if they're lucky, they got a little bit of a warm up in today, but a good many of them probably not. And especially because we've also only released the teams their first set of teams. So if that makes sense, for the first two games, they know who they're playing with, but they won't know who they're playing with game 3 and 4 until after game 2, making it a little suspenseful as well. But let's get in to a little deeper dive about it. We are going to be having 6 games on Stormpoint, World's Edge, and E District here today. Like we told you, teams will be switching every 2 games. And it will be a standard ALGS scoring system. So your typical 1 point is a kill, 12 points is a win, and so on. We'll get into the nitty gritty a little later as well.
Yeah, and again, we talk about being able to adapt, playing on 3 different maps with 3 different skill sets that are needed. Hopefully, you get on a squad that really gels together on Stormpoint as opposed to maybe one that might be a little more successful on World's Edge and you have them on the wrong map. Again, it's going to be really be able to test how well you are to able to adapt to the map and then also your teammates. So it's going to be really cool to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the 20 captains will have to be trying to make those sort of calls on, what legend comps and, what sort of rotations they're going to be trying to give. But in a couple years ago when we ran this, we did see the pros take over a little bit and try and, give a little assistance to the captain. So we'll see how that pans out here today.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm competing in the competition and I have a professional player on my team, even if they normally don't IGL, when I usually try to take a little bit more of an IGL role, I'm taking a step back immediately. I'm like, nah, you take the reins. I'm gonna go with whatever you say because most of the time that experience that they have, both of the actual map itself and just overall of the meta, is invaluable. So even if you're a little bit more of an IGL. Maybe you step back into like a co-IGL. Let the pros teach you how it's done.
Yeah, let them do their thing. They've been here before, and they are, of course, used to playing for high stakes. And we'll dive deep into the prize breakdown later, but this is a $3,000 tournament. So these teams are going to want to capitalize on every single game they can. And that's where you might want to rely on your pros a little bit.
For sure. And got to give a shout out to the sponsors as well. I mean, that's a lot of money being thrown down. So, Nokia, got to give a shout out to them. Rivals, I've seen you guys run some interesting tournaments and scrims with that website. I want to know more about them. Shout out to everybody. And also shout out for Team Inferno for putting on this amazing competition and making this all happen. So it's a lot of money on the line. And obviously, everybody's be bringing their A game today.
Yes, for sure. We also actually have some Apex coin giveaways that will be happening in chat today. So make sure to stay tuned, stay locked in on the stream, and don't miss those for sure.
For sure, for sure, and I guess you talked a little about the prize. You talked a little bit about the actual competition as well. I guess maybe we should talk a little bit while we're waiting for the match to load up. What type of meta should we expect to see? Like what should our viewers be expected to see going into each of these maps, especially Storm Point, which is our map number one?
Well, so that good thing you brought that up. They are obviously we talked about draft, so they have to draft their POIs. So no cons or anything like that off of your typical pubs. But there also will be legend bans. So after every game, basically how it works is the most picked character of that game will then be banned for the next game. So right now in today's meta, we could see a lot of characters like Caustic and Ash going out very early, as those characters are very highly picked right now.
Yeah, I will say Caustic is kind of a pick or ban situation. Like if they're allowed in the game, I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be running one. The value and the brokenness of this character gets crazier and crazier as the circle gets smaller and smaller, and eventually you get into a situation where you're 3 teams, 4 teams, or even 3-on-3, and you don't have a Caustic, and that circle is small. Good luck. You're probably end up not going to win that one. So wouldn't be surprised if Caustic ends up getting banned first. If with Caustic banned, you want fortified legends are really important right now with how heavy the zone meta is. What kind of legend would you be replacing Caustic with if you're trying to fortify and hunker down a little bit?
Honestly, my go-to would be Watson, but I have seen a lot of teams running the Rampart as well. Starting with Watson, though, the ult is a very good tool to sort of counter, any nades, any sort of spam that a team is trying to, do on the building you're trying to hold or the position. But then Rampart also gives really good values with those walls. Portable cover can mean a lot in an end zone when there's not a lot of cover left.
Fantastic, and I'm right there with you. I think those two. I love Rampart getting some love now because back in the day, hey, remember back in the day, a little bit of a troll pick for a while, but we're seeing Rampart actually being ran not only in your smaller tournaments, but also some of your bigger ones as well. Even pros are starting to experiment a little bit. Rampart gets some serious value, and again, in today's meta, where it seems like it's very zone heavy, I say hiding, but y'all say rotating and going to zone. I say hiding. So shout out Nokia, by the way, about to be putting out a $25,000 hide and seek tournament because that's what y'all be doing with the Caustics and the Watcher. You're playing hide and seek, $25,000 on the line, thanks to Nokia on November 8th, because that's really what y'all be doing when you talk about zones. But that's for another day. My bad.
I totally agree, but another character I failed to mention actually is Catalyst. Catalyst is also very heavily used. All the controller characters, actually, funny enough, are good. It just kind of depends on what your team wants. A Catalyst can definitely bunker down a building. She can also split off that zone in the end game for you with her wall. A little bit of hiding. You can hide yourself in one side of the zone. So it's going to be interesting to see what teams pick here today.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Catalyst. I feel like it helps you fortify a building, but also in micro rotations, dropping that wall or that veil and being able to, get to point A to point B without being seen as easily can be used in micro rotations. Obviously not as good as maybe like a Wraith, for example, but still a lot of value you can get out of a legend that can do it all. Speaking of meta, while I'm sure waiting for the lobby to get ready, we talked a lot about what the actual legend composition is going to be like. Talk to me a bit about the weapons. Like, so far I've been seeing a lot of single fire, a lot of G7 scouts, a lot of 30-30 repeaters, and then up close, only Peacekeepers. I hate to bring it to you. The only weapon I'm seeing up close is Peacekeeper. Maybe a little bit of R99 action, but I swear it's everybody towards the end game. If you don't got a Peacekeeper, you're going to find yourself behind the 8 ball a little bit. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hit it right on. Basically, you're off bat looking for a 30-30 or G7 scout. A lot of farm damage from distance is made, especially with these heavy zone teams, right? You get in a zone, you might only be blue or white. So you're looking to farm with the 30-30 or the G7 scout to sort of get to the next Evo. And then, like you said, up close, it's all about the PK. You have some players who are running the RE45 or R9 because it's their comfort weapon. And not to say they're not good, but the Peacekeeper is just overall so much better. They even gave it a small little nerf recently, actually, less than a week ago, and people are still running it, especially pros. It's just way too powerful. You can get a hit for 108, and that completely changes the fight for a team.
And I feel like things can get a little bit weird. Like I feel like if your ultimate goal is to get a peacekeeper, and say for example you land early, you only get yourself, between three players, one or two. I feel like you have the option there where you can maybe run something like an Eva until you're able to turn that into a peacekeeper going into the middle game. But sometimes you mess around with like an R99 or RE45, and your attachments are so good, you might end up getting locked into holding that into the mid game and into the end game. I feel like it's a situation where if the peacekeeper is so that it's that good. I'm seeing 108s across the board. People are missing shots at hitting 108. Damn it, it's actually insane. But if it's that strong, I feel like you kind of have to go with it now. Again, waiting for our matchup to get ready here. But we talked about legend and meta composition. We talked about weapons. Now, map to map. Stormpoint, World's Edge, ED. We're talking about very different maps. Does your composition change whatsoever going from map to map, or?
Oh, for sure. I mean, nowadays, especially with bans, it's changing all the time. But even just from a map-to-map standpoint, you have certain characters like Wraith who thrive on World's Edge District. It's almost like she was built for those maps. But then on maps like Stormpoint, you might want to run a Bang or Ash because those gaps are a lot bigger. But now we got game one loading up here, and we can already take a look at the comps for World's Edge right there.
Well, I caught a little bit of the teams. I caught a little bit of the comps. I should have took a screenshot real quick because I saw some names that I am very, very familiar with, not only on a fantastic content creator and amazing entertainers. I recommend everybody that's watching at home, obviously, follow the stream, watch you on the stream. Us cast are going to be guiding you through the action, but also amazing content creators and professional players that you might want to show them some love as well. Maybe even open up a couple of tabs while you're listening to us. We want to spread the love all around. BIPOC events like this is for us to network a little bit, us to get to know each other. And I feel like spreading the love and us networking like this is so important. Lots of times, we don't get those opportunities.
For sure, yeah. Make sure there is a team stream actually for this tournament where you can check out every single individual player's streams, assuming that they have their streams up. You can go ahead and check them out individually as well. So like you said, make sure to keep a tab for them because all these players are here for a reason, and we want to sort of help shout them out. And like we said, network is just the most important thing for today.
So we saw an interesting composition, but we're moving on to team. Is that Team Ka?
Team Ka.
Team Ka. And this is a little bit more of a common composition that I was seeing. You got the Mad Maggie, which I'm assuming for micro rotation, but also entry frag. Same with Ultra. They both can really combo off and really enter a building and get ready to fight. But then you also have the Caustic, which can fortify. So a bit of balance coming out of Team Ka. This is a common composition that I expect to see, especially as the game gets later and later.
Oh, for sure. And I'm actually surprised that we don't see Blinksers on Wraith. I don't know if you guys keep up with Pro League, but he has been having some crazy kidnaps with the Wraith portal. But we're going to get to see what he gets to do on Maggie first, and then we'll keep an eye on him for sure. But yeah, like you said, a very common comp right here. Honestly, the Wraith is the only other one that you may sub out for Mad Maggie. These are going to be your most common comps. And I'm actually surprised to see that Blink isn't picking up the Peacekeeper. Very interesting. Sticking with the mat. Oh, spoke too soon.
Yeah, it looks like we were rocking the Mastiff just until we were able to get the Peacekeeper. And what they also noticed is that their G7 Scout is also like fully loaded as well. I think I saw a purple bag on it and a purple stock as well. So the fact that Blink is able to not only get the weapons that they want as early, but also these attachments as well, they're going to definitely pay dividends. One thing I'm also noticing right now, round number one, he'll close in quite some time, but it looks like a pretty long rotation to make it towards the circle for Team Ka. For the teams that like to play zone, they might already be in the circle. Like, for example, Team Sadie's. I got the chance to cast over Sadie's a little bit. She nasty with it.
Oh, for sure. A friend of Inferno, for sure. Always active in the Apex Legends community. And we can see you're rocking the Sparrow. along with Crook and Dopey. And yeah, like you said, they're already starting to post up in zone. It looks like they're doing a little scouting too to see what's going on, what's open. As of right now, though, it looks like they will be closer to the edge as there is quite a few teams, it looks like, posted up already in Clima buildings. So not going to be an opportunity to take much there just yet.
It seems like Team Sadie's is very comfortable right now with their positioning. Obviously, a lot of open space that they have to work with, but they do have lines of sight that they can head glitch off of. They even have the trailer behind them as well. So they're very comfortable playing the edge of the circle right now. They're able to fortify up with the caustic. And obviously, if things get a little bit too crazy, we have Quick on the Wraith who can go for the maximum rotations. Meanwhile, Team Zay, they get active. They know that you get paid per kill as well. So they trying to get in, and 20 squads right now could be down to 19 real quick if Team Zay continues to play like this.
Yeah, it looks like they're down to a solo. They take out Madness, and Zay and them will get themselves some nice KP as we have Team Wink being eliminated in the kill feed. It looks like Navi Slab was able to pick up the kills on Winks' team, and now they're the kill leader with 3 so far.
Actually got the chance to cast a BIPOC tournament with Zaytoven for Logitech maybe last month. So not only an incredible player, but also can get on the cast list as well. I want to find the first person to cast a tournament and win a tournament at the same time. Kareem Cheese may not be that one as they quickly go down. Luckily the res comes in real quick. The cover fire is there, but you better be careful. A couple more plays like that and you could get collapsed on.
Yeah, it looked like Viguk and Hambino were right below them, and they took them out, but they were able to get the res off, thankfully, because you want your Newcastle to be up at all times. Your Newcastle is the one that you want to be, doing the resing, not getting resed.
Fair enough. And with this type of spacing right now, I feel like the Newcastle is really even more valuable. Like, this is very tough for them to play, but sometimes that ultimate makes these unplayable spots playable. So I feel like if they're able to get fully loaded, able to get maybe an ult down, we can see them get a lot more comfortable. But right now, it feels like they're just in the middle of the action and just very uncomfortable with all of the pressure that's coming from them at multiple sides. I see Team Sadie's, we were highlighting them earlier, they got collapsed on. They're taking down. The same for Team Doll. Just like that, we're down to 17 squads remaining.
Yeah, it looks like they don't want to full commit to this spot, so no Newcastle wall has been placed. Neither has an altar TP'd, so you can only assume they're maybe looking to move, or they might look to post up. There you go. There's the wall down. That'll help them be more comfortable in this spot. Still going to get pressured as Team Wrap goes down, but at least now they have a little bit of cover as Karev almost goes down as we move over to Team Ka.
Team Ka looking comfortable on their high ground, at least. Exotica, mind you, now going to drop into the low ground. They're going to get fully loaded in this building. If they are pushed, it is so tough to push a caustic fortified building. The value that they get from blocking off every entrance, them having a sight light on you, you taking so much damage, it's crazy. And meanwhile, value, the G7 scout from down range, it ain't just a mid-range weapon we were trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's doing great for him, and he's also got that infinite bats. Those hop-ups now are really helpful for a lot of these teams. It allows them to keep doing damage like this without a repercussion. As long as he doesn't go down, he gets the infinite bats, and he never runs out of shields. As they'll look to back up now, they're on the edge of zone. We can see zone definitely pulls over by that epic Clima on the top left of your screen. And it looks like Ka's going to want to go ahead and hit up the UAV to see where everyone else is at.
And I feel like with the damage that Exotica is able to create on the map, like one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of teams like to run the Mad Maggie, because you crack a team like that, you crack a couple of players, and as they're trying to bat up, as they're trying to get fully loaded, dropping a Maggie ball and getting into the action like that, getting your caustic in there faster is absolutely huge. Right now, you see the Altar and the Bangalore going down courtesy of Team Boogie, and that's to leave Serial Cat by themselves and trying to escape, but there is no escape. Team Boogie goes down. I believe that team was featuring Shiv, by the way, one of my favorite content creators to watch.
Yes, of course. And it is Team Hunt who takes them down. Darklight and the boys go ahead and pick up the 3 KP. And we still have 15 squads. So we're looking pretty good quality wise so far as well. Round two, still making their way. And honestly, I'd like to highlight the Sparrow ult there out of Huntsman. It was a great way to push the rest of that team away, separating Serial Cat from being able to help out his teammates.
Well, as we see another Sparrow here, I looked at Sparrow and I was like, okay, movement is cool. And I thought, when the character first came out, it would more be like a pub star character, but we've been seeing Sparrow a bit in competitive tournaments like this one. Talk to me about the value that Sparrow brings while we're just kind of poking damage across the map here.
Yeah, gotta love the poke damage. But yes, Sparrow was a character who, a lot, like you said, a lot of people thought it was just going to be about the movement. But his ability to use his ultimate to, push teams away or push teams into a certain corner that you want him in allows you to do so much damage, because when you get hit by the Sparrow ult, I cannot, comprehend the amount of just panic that settles in when that Sparrow ult goes down on an opposing team. And as well as his Q. Makes it very easy for talented Sparrow players to hit UAVs from far distances. If you don't want to have to sit up right on it, you can hit it from 100 meters away and get that info and move on your rotations a lot quicker. So I know a lot of pros, a lot of IGLs love the ability with Sparrow to be able to just hit that UAV and keep moving.
And oftentimes, knowledge is power here, and we have the knowledge of knowing that round number 2 zone closing in less than 40 seconds right now. So you're gonna have to see teams maybe start to move a little, maybe start to rotate. Not so much of team Kyrie right now. I mean, they're looking good on that bridge. They have space to work with. And for me, it isn't like the greatest location ever, but we talk about, again, Caustic is the king of fortifying areas and making areas playable, very similar to Newcastle, that normally aren't. Meanwhile, Team Cloaked end up losing their Wraith right away. Gonna be very hard for them to rotate and play safely when you don't have Slab.
Yeah, so now it's going to be down to Drum and Cloak to see if they can pick him back up. Looks like a Bangalore, an opposing team, went ahead and ulted them, and Slab was just not able to get out. As on the top of your screen, you see that zone pop, and it looks like it will be going over to Climb as Team Zay. Zay is actually down, and they're in the middle of a fight here, right over where Stabi and them were, and it just leaves KCPJ left.
Team Z felt like a very comfortable team in the fighting. We saw them fighting earlier, and we see them get into yet another battle, but this time it's KCPJ by themselves, and with that Team Z get eliminated down to 14 squads. Let's switch on over to Team Hunts with Unreal Nightmares, very own Huntsmen, who captains this roster, and they're getting into some more action. This circle ain't big enough for all 14 of them.
And it looks like it was Alliance Hackis who is actually getting the kills on Team Zay, and now they're getting third-partied by Team Hunt, as you see Darklight pick up a KP there, and Team Candy go down in the kill feed. Darklight doing a nice job of playing his Qs to stay alive, and like we said, we saw our first already 108 pump out of the PK that just, it changes the fight completely for Darklight. He's able to pick up the knock and the full fin easily with the PK.
We've seen Ultra in almost every composition that we've seen so far now. I think about the Q and how you're able to enter into a fight, how you're able to breach so quickly, but also on top of that, like that ult, it's like a get out of jail free card, it feels like.
Yes.
I guess talk to me a bit about all of the value that Ultra brings and why we're seeing Ultra so much.
I mean, Alter is just kind of like a caustic situation. If you're not running her, players would like to consider that as troll. As, yes, we just saw Darklight use the Q there to keep himself alive. It's great for, even small little rotations. If you don't want to use a Wraith Portal or you don't want to use an Ash TP, those small little Qs can get you into the craziest spots. And not only that, they also have a very nice vertical. You can be on the bottom floor of a building and get all the way to the height with a couple Qs, and it can change a fight completely. Like you said, the ultimate as well, a get out of jail free card. As long as you have it placed in good positions, you can basically reset a fight whenever you want. Now, I like to pair that with Newcastle to have that res instantly, but it looks like Team Hunt wants a little more of an aggressive comp here as they throw in the Sparrow.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk about the format too much, but I guess we'll talk about that in a bit because we have more action going down right now. 12 squads and team floating. You got the recon drone floating around, getting as much intel as possible. And as we said before, knowledge is typically power, especially as the circle gets smaller and smaller. With that intel coming in, why don't we share a bit of intel with you? Because now correct me if I'm wrong, the way the actual pricing works, it's $500 per game. $3,000 total. I believe a part of the winning goes to whoever wins the game. The next part comes to the team with the most points. So kills obviously matter. And then on top of that, $50 for the kill leader. Is that the breakdown that we're looking at? That's crazy.
Yes, for sure. The only thing is that for the team with the most points, they cannot win the $225 if they were the game winners. So basically, the game winners get $225, and then the team with the most points after that go ahead and pick up $225. And like you said, $50 for the kill leader. So yeah, every single game matters.
That is the most interesting format because you have teams that are very popular with playing zone, playing defensively, which seems to be the meta now, but there's a lot of aggressive compositions like we're seeing right now. Lifeline, Maggie, and Rig. That tells me you want to get aggressive. You may not be going for the winners, but you're going for the kills and more with a composition like this. 10 squads remaining, 30 players on the map, so everybody fully loaded right now, and so is this 30-30 in the hands of Vosky.
Yeah, I was about to say, Vosky, definitely a player that will get aggressive, especially in tournaments like this. And as well as Thalos on his team, both players who have had plenty of experience in these tournament styles, so they know the kills count. And I'm sure when they saw the prize breakdown, they were licking their lips for that kill leader, $50 per game. We'll see. What they can do is Mina gets shot from the back as they're getting breached in the building. The Mad Maggie gets the ball off, but it leaves just Vosky.
Highly unfortunate, your lifeline goes down. That's supposed to be your healer, and naturally Vosky by himself, but Vosky, almost a one-man army with it floating, are able to eliminate them real quick. No third party just yet. And I see a couple kill leaders on the screen. Was that 8 kills out of somebody? Or yo.
I think I did just see that as we see Team Ka is actually the team that was across from them. They lose out on Ka, but Blink and Nia are still alive, and we'll see what they can do. They still have the Caustic Maggie duo rocking, and it looks like they might try and pull Ka if possible.
Team Ka, by the way, most fun name I've ever said in an Apex tournament. I love it, bro. Which apparently Team Ka loving the fact that the player getting aggressive on them, puts the Peacekeeper to work, but nades out of nowhere, damage in, and Exotica ends up going down, turned to a banner. And are we gonna see Caustic try to go for a res? The smoke is down. It looks like they're gonna try to go for it. I don't know where that damage came from, but man, it almost completely eliminated Team Ka.
Yeah, and honestly, all that could have cleaned that up was a Caustic ult, as we see how low Blink's health is now. Yeah, the combination of grenades, Caustic ults, like just stuff that just can be thrown at you nowadays. You have to be careful playing in these buildings, and especially as a duo, it makes it so much harder. I'll just switch on over to Team Gav. Looks like they're trying to breach into the cart here. I'm not even sure what's going on with the crypto ult and all the stuns. They can't make it, and Team Gav is eliminated, as well as Team Real, as it was Team Floating that came in and picked up some of the kills. As we see, A1s has 8 assists. So that means Team Floating at least has 8 kills. That's a lot of KP to start off for game 1.
There was so much screen clutter, I didn't even know what the heck was going on, but I know we're down to 5 squads. I know there's more action going down. Blink getting aggressive as possible. This is the value that we talk about with Mad Maggie. If you want to chase your opponent, you're able to do that because everybody on the daggone map has a Peacekeeper, but not everybody has a shot like Blink with the G7 Scout.
As Team Vega goes down, Exotica takes the portal, and they're looking to take space in this zone. If you guys actually remember, I believe it was mid-year. It might have been at the beginning, but we did have an ALGS champs here with this similar zone ending, if you remember that correctly. As Blink's going to look to try and hit something with a Kraber here. Maybe that'll be their game to win. So we have a little Kraber POV as Future is down on Team Atlas. And it just leaves the Watson alone as a solo in the cart. You can only assume it's a matter of time before she gets pushed. She hits for 96 with the PK. He almost connects again on the crypto, but it's unfortunately not enough, as Team Dexican are now going back and forth with Team Ka, and they eliminate Team Ka. We're now down to our last two teams, and it looks like Team Dexican is going to go ahead and pick up the Kraber. We'll see if that gives them the advantage.
Both teams fully loaded right now. It's a 3v3 scenario. We know on Team Dexican side, we have the Newcastle, we have the Caustic, and we also have the Ultra as well. They are well prepared. Meanwhile, on floating, you got a lot of intel coming in with the crypto, but I think what might get more value is that ultimate, which they don't have yet. And both teams know the exact positioning of their opponents. It's gonna get active real soon here, because round number 6 is no more.
As we're on the Karev at POV, both these teams very confident right now, as they both have a decent amount of a KP. Obviously, floating, I believe, had almost 11 there. At least Dexican has at least 4 right now, as they're looking to portal into the cart. But Karev is hard staring with this Kraber, and it could be the difference maker. If he can land at least one shot, that's 120. That can be a total flip in the fight, as it looks like the Wraith is actually playing by herself on the cart, and it's kind of working so far. It's getting Karev and them a little distracted. They're trying to look for an isolation on the Wraith, but her teammates are covering very, very well.
Taking way too much damage there was Team Dexicon, and luckily they're able to get fully loaded. And with the Krabby Patty in hands, trying to hand somebody the secret formula, because that's all they needed, the crack, for them to push forward and put the R99 to work. That's max damage going down, and one crack turns into so much more as Team Dexicon goes in for the collapse. But hold on, teammates falling left and right. Karev is by themselves. They're the ones who started this fight, but they're certainly not finishing it.
And Team Floating are your champions for game number 1. And wow, what a finish. Like you said, Team Karev hits the Kraber shot, and they pushed off of it, but it just didn't work out in the end. The caustic gas stun, and I guess the playing of cover there really made a difference.
That it did. And I mean, like walking us through that, I mean, you start off getting the immediate crack with that Kraber. I mean, like you said, what is that? 150 straight to the body. And there was no hesitation. There was no timing loss whatsoever. We saw the Ultra Q go down. We saw them collapse from multiple sides. It seemed textbook out of them. Now, we didn't see that from Floating's point of view, so I don't know exactly what they were able to do in order to defend that. Maybe it's just as simple as hitting your shots, or maybe you can shed some more light. But from one side of things, it seemed perfect to me. It just didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, we didn't get to see Floating's PV, so it could have been a shot difference, especially with the PK nowadays. But the other thing I'd like to point out is it was a great textbook play. They had no hesitation, but the problem is that the Ultra Q only got them halfway to the wall. Team Floating had a wall there to play as cover, so they were able to peek, get some shots on them as soon as we saw Karev come out of the queue, and that kind of gave them the damage lead to be able to win that fight.
My gosh, and it looks like our leaderboard's about to be ready here soon. I can't wait to look at that, because there was plenty of kills to break down, and fantastic job by production. I call for it. It's right then and there. Absolutely amazing. And up top, we have a 3-way tie. By the way, between Confused and QT. I'm confused right now. I don't know about a QT, but I'm confused right now with how we're going to do the 3-way tie. Awans and Floating all having 28 points apiece. If you guys remember, the way the pricing works is first place, you're going home. You're good with $225. But then after that, based on points, not including the winner, you're supposed to get $225 yourself, and then also the kill leader themselves get $50. Right now, we have a tie between Awans and Floating, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but I'm still excited for it.
So actually, this scoreboard you're looking at right now is actually every individual player currently. Now, from a sort of team, that's why it's a little confusing. But from a team perspective, that's all 3 members of Floating's team in A1s and Confusing QT, as they take up that first place. So all 3 of them collective will take home $225 just off that game. Now, based off points, Team Dexican was second with 14 points, and they go ahead and take those $225 for that game. And floating is actually your kill leader for that game, and he'll take home $50. So yeah, already game one, and teams have already started to secure the bag. We know Apex players love getting their hands on a little bit of cheese, and so far we already get to see that in
Hey,
game
yo,
one.
Priya, I just got to thank you so much for having my back right there. Because I'm over here, the math wasn't even math. My bad. Thank you for breaking that down so eloquently. And it's one thing that I'm just really excited for, though. It's a different format as far as tournament-wise. You win the game, you're going to get yourself some money. Mind you, every game matters, like you mentioned before. But on top of that, hey, if you're not a zone-heavy team and you just want to prove that you're one of the top dogs and you want to fight, well, guess what? You can get paid on that as well. Just like you guys can get paid, by the way, by rivals. You got a PPK system. It's a pay per kill system. Now, you guys doing that every week now? How often are you guys doing the PPK?
Yeah, so they actually host them every Tuesday night is our Inferno X Rivals, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, just like you said, pay per kill. So basically every kill you get is $1 added to your bank account, sometimes $3. It depends on the night. But it is very fun. I personally have played in it a few times, and it is a great way to just make a little bit of money. So if you want to head down over there, make sure to check it out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we heard you. We heard you like to see action on top of action on top of action, and we ain't slowing down for nothing here. It looks like we're actually jumping in, and now we're switching things up. Actually, Storm Point is where we're landing right now.
Yeah, so the map rotation I'll have to pull up in a sec, but it is 1-1-1, I believe, and then it just alternates and goes ahead and repeats. So we will be on E District after this game, and we'll continue to rotate from there.
Storm Point gonna be a really interesting map. It seems like for the most part, it's almost like just a giant hill. You're just climbing upwards, depending, I guess, where the circle moves. But it seems like you're climbing upwards almost the entire time. It feels like on this map.
Dibs.
Yeah, for sure, and that's going to make it, great for teams that are trying to hold out other teams from rotating in the zone, but difficult for those trying to get in. And yes, the map rotation will be World's Edge, Storm Point, E-District, and then it will continue to repeat from there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to earn yourself some coin, make sure you type in COINS. Type in coins in the chat, because guess what? Not only are our fantastic players and content creators earning some money, but you guys can too. We're doing Apex giveaways after every single game. So do yourself a favor, type in coins in the chat if you want to earn some coins, just like our fantastic competitors. And, the game just started. How are we already fighting? What's happening?
This fight tends to happen a lot, and Elrod and Zeus, both these teams probably want the info at their neighboring POIs. It looks like Elrod's coming over to Zeus, maybe looking for a beacon, maybe the UAV, but Vosky and them are looking to hold them off as, POIs that are close by, as much as the ALGS, drop system takes away those cons. There's POIs like these where we can have a little bit of back and forth at the beginning of the game.
Team Vosky looking real comfortable right now, and you see the Sentinel charged up. And as much as we highlight the G7 Scout and the 30-30 Peter, obviously those really want to see more mid-range combat than long-range. If you're just trying to farm damage and you have a decent shot, the Sentinel will do that, I would imagine.
Yes, and actually, interesting enough that we mentioned the Sentinel, it was actually bugged for a good majority of this season and was not playable, and they actually had to remove it from the game. It just came back from an update last week, so a lot of teams are going to take advantage of having their Sentinel back and get some great shots off of it.
For sure, and a Madness on screen right now. He's gonna rock the 30-30, just keeping teams at bay right now. It looks like the teams just softening each other up. Nobody hard committing just yet. Obviously, as the circle gets smaller and smaller, we can see teams forced to fight. But right now, it seems like what's most important is rotating towards that zone, getting into a much more favorable position, especially as you find yourself out in the perimeters.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it looks like Team VGUK is posting up for a north wall sort of trident zone ending. We'll see how it goes as we actually see Hambino on Gibby. And shout out Gibby. I love seeing the Gibby gameplay. It's been returning a little bit this season, actually. We haven't seen him for a little while, but teams are really liking the ability to do what Vguk just did and hop into Trident and place the Gibby bubble so he can't get hit. And, you know, whether it's to take more space or create more cover, either way, it gives them a little bit of an advantage over some other teams.
Yeah, it feels like when you play Gibby, oftentimes you're kind of sacrificing a piece, you know, whether it's a rotating piece or a control piece. And if you don't have a Wraith, for example, even like a Mad Maggie for a micro rotate, it seems like lots of times Gibby can be a little bit tough, even though they get so much value toward the end game. But if you have a Trident and you can use that to rotate, I mean, that don't sound like a bad play. I can definitely see Gibby getting so much more value on Storm Point with the vehicles.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I just got a little recon here as well as we move over to a Watson player. That Caustic was the game 1 ban, so we kind of assumed that at the beginning. So we're going to see a lot of these, you know, Catalyst Watson teams come out. And we can only... Oh, got a little Pathfinder here as Noob King is 1 HP. He'll go ahead and heal up. But like I was saying, we're also probably going to see Alter potentially go out this next game. Now, Team Embassy, one team I've seen so far not running her, but I think it's safe to assume she'll probably be the game 2 ban.
Oftentimes I hear players say that they're one shot and nowhere near it. We saw Noob King was legit one shot. You looked at them the wrong way and he might have gotten knocked right there. Luckily, is able to get fully shielded up and now the health is looking good. And ultimately, Team MC, they live to be able to fight another engagement.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Pathfinder is an interesting character here for Noob King to be playing this sort of early on. But a lot of people like the grapple ability. You know, it gives them a sort of kind of like the Alter Q, repositioning in a fight, although it's not as safe. So we'll see how Noob King shares here with a Pathfinder. But as we can look at the rest of the composition with Newcastle and Mad Maggie, that Pathfinder is going to be big for their long rotates, as Maggie's ball will help them on the short rotations. And some mid-range, they're going to need the Pathfinder zip if they want to move across the map.
Yeah, I feel like similar to how that game number 1 ended, you know, if you're able to do the initial damage, crack a team or two, especially with something like a Kraber, you can see Pathfinder really just fly their way in. What we do remember, that didn't exactly work for Cream Cheese and the boys back in that game number 1, but things can change with MC getting aggressive and forcing teams out into the zone.
Yeah, for sure. As we move on over to Team Atlas, a old comp here, actually, during the support meta with Newcastle, Gibby, and Watson. And they're posted up in wall. It looks like they're predicting a wall end zone here, which I got to say, on Storm Point, wall is one of my favorite end zones to either play or watch. A lot of buildings, a lot of space to be played, and allows for some pretty awesome end games. See Team Cuz swinging in with the PK. It is Exotica who gets the knock on a Gibraltar, and he's going to get pushed by the Crypto. His teammates are just working their way over. He's going to go ahead and take the Ultra Q. Get a good hit for 72. Will it be enough? Blink goes down as well. It leaves just the Watson, and she's not close. She's a building over. So she's going to have to play her life and run away, as Ka had good entry, but his team, I don't think, were prepared for a fight that quickly, as it's Team Boogie who picked up the KP. You were just shutting out the boy Shiv as he goes ahead and gets one of the kills on Team Ka.
My gosh, that was absolutely exciting to watch. It seemed like Team Ka had a huge advantage, and the damage was serious, but Team Boogie able to fortify, able to stay alive, and they live to see yet another engagement themselves. Meanwhile, we're still at 20 squads, so, you know, rap plays can happen. Obviously, you can get a banner, get a res or so. Meanwhile, Kurev and the crew, they're getting assaulted here over towards the east side. I don't know how they're going to be able to push forward. That's pretty far in range. You might need yourself a sniper.
Yeah, and luckily they do have a good comp for it with portable cover here with Newcastle and Rampart. And I like to highlight the overflow that Kurev just had on. He was 1 HP, and all you had to do was pop a cell and a syringe to heal as Team Zay goes down as it's team floating. Your game 1 winners, I believe, right? Yeah, go ahead and pick up the KP on Team Zay as we work our way back to Team Atlas. A little night and day there, a little chaos, and back to the comm over here with that. Oops. Maybe not. That might have been a little bit of a caster curse.
My gosh, they were focused on what was in front of them. However, it looks like a flank from behind ends up taking down our Newcastle, and Team Atlas really are in trouble. You find yourself in a third-party situation. You are behind. I guess you're in the middle of two different teams at the moment. Still feel comfortable enough to go for the res, and you're able to get at least one up, and now the second. This is huge for Team Atlas.
Yeah, the Newcastle ability to get the reset here is huge, and honestly, the Watson being able to get that res off is a little surprising. They must have done a good amount of damage to that other team to sort of ward them off, and it looks like the other team decides to just go back around. But yeah, they did have a knock, and we'll go ahead and get the full Finn. You can only assume the other team's at least a duo now.
Round number 2 closing in just over a minute right now. We've seen plenty of action, yet only one squad has been wiped. As I say that, another caster's curse on the broadcast. This time it's me, because we're down to 18. Crest Step taking a whole lot of damage, but that mobile shield provides so much defensive capability. And who needs defense when you have offense? You got Slab eliminating Team Ka. That's 17 squads.
Some great pickup kills here early for Team Cloaked. And yeah, we saw Team Cuz Watson trying to run away as a solo, and unfortunately runs into Team Cloaked. I would have probably rather run into any other team right now, as they are looking aggressive with the Maggie and Fuse comp.
Staying on board now with Team Cloaked. And with how much teams want to fortify and stay in the building, you know, Mad Maggie, that drill, Fuse, lighting them up with nades, this might be a fantastic counter to what the meta is right now. And with the kills you're able to stack up, it could be real. And with Boogie on the other side of things, they want no part of that. They're able to find the exit route, and now just holding the choke point. This is exactly what they want. A Team Boogie want to fight on the outside and force you in.
Yeah, Team Boogie here kind of looking at that zone pop. They got to move in, but before they can do that, they need to make sure that their back is cleared. So they got to, unfortunately, kill this team if they want to make it out. Now, that's going to, you know, leave it up to chance, but as long as they play their cards right, they can hold them out, as they are the ones with the positioning as the Fusel and the Sparrow ults come out, and it kind of doesn't do much to Team Boogie. They're holding their position. They do not care. They were also a little too close to the door to do anything to Team Boogie. Zero Cat might be looking for a flank here with the PK. Alter Q, Q's back out, and this is the power of the Alter Q. Insane flanks there that you would never expect.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the position, the decision making, and everything I'm seeing from Serial Cat, using the environment to head glitch. You know, finding different angles and creative ones by using the Ultra Q. Like, I love just the overall decision making that I'm seeing from Team Boogie. However, I think I did see some damage coming up from behind, and you gotta be careful, especially when you get isolated. Taken down, Serial Cat ends up getting aped right there. Meanwhile, Shiv and Boogie need to find a way to fight with a man down and make it 2. I don't know if Boogie can possibly get out of this situation, especially the Gibby. There's not much movement.
No, not at all. As soon as you pop your bubble, that is kind of it. After that, you don't got much abilities to help you out. Zero Cat there had a good positioning. He just could not get the Q off in time. It looked like he thought about it, and by the time he went to do it, they were just already all over him and were able to get the kills. This Chris Step's going to go ahead and get a res with the Newcastle. And they get future streams up, and the Watson is just chaos happening in this building. A good one away, but the Mad Maggie girl might finish them off. The Watson's run, and she goes down. The Mad Maggie drill you were just talking about, unfortunately, takes out Team Atlas, as it takes out Ambino's team and Team VGUK as well, as they're down to a duo now.
I mean, we talk about all the time, the Fuse and the Mad Maggie is legitimately free damage to farm. There was nothing that Team Atlas could do, and now I'm worried for another squad here. Ambino is by themselves at the moment. Maybe they could try to get a res. There might not be in a better situation as his and hers right now, because a solo just strafing shots. There's no cover. There's nowhere to run, and Team Rap end up getting eliminated down to 13 squads. These teams are getting active.
Oh yeah, for sure. Team Hunt being one of them as well. with the Wraith on their team as well. As Hambino does get the res on Viguk, but he's getting swung. He didn't get it off. He goes in and takes the portal and goes down, and that'll be Team Viguk being unfortunately eliminated. Ham tried holding it down, but Team Kyrie comes in and picks up the KP.
I will say crazy reaction and utilizing information from like your headset knowing there's a player diving in on you to be able to take that ultra portal and try to make something happen. Obviously you're in a 1v3, there's not much you can do, but the reaction time and the response was obviously one of an experienced player. Obviously Ambino a pro for a reason. Meanwhile Team Kyrie trying to find their way in. Love their positioning right now relative to everybody else that's trying to play inward towards them, but I say that Kyrie's the first one to go down. Now Faye is going to try to do everything they can to stay alive here, but they are getting pushed. The pressure is on.
Yeah, Sparrow was used there to sort of slow them down, but it did not slow down whatever team this is. Honestly, sometimes with Sparrow, it's like, do I pop the ult? Do I shoot my gun? It's tough, but right there, Sparrow didn't do too much for them, as Team Kyrie will now be a duo, but they do have a Lobby. Can they get it off is the question as we move over to Team Floating. Floating's down. Looks like A-Wons will look to try and get the res as he punches them into cover. It looks like they'll be okay, but if we look at that zone pop on the top left, they are the only building, other than the building a little north, in zone. So a lot of teams are going to pressure them. A lot of teams want this spot because this is potentially a game-winning spot in this end zone.
And while the res is going down, Confusing QT sitting on the roof of that building, just getting as much information as possible and also trying to farm much damage. Floating is our kill leader at 4 kills and 2,200 damage. The game is not even halfway done as far as squads eliminated, and they have 2K damage already. They're trying to put up a 4K in the daggone tournament.
Yeah, that's insane, but I'm not surprised coming out of Floating, to be honest, but we'll see how they can fare the rest of the game, because again, they also want to win. As much as points do matter for sure, other than the kill leader, the big money is on win and overall points. So we'll see how they fare after this game. But of course, they were already the Game 1 winners, so they're already going to have a lot of points ahead of these other teams. Just depends on if anybody else crept up to them. As we see Team CDs throwing nades back and forth. They're posted up with the Watson, a very good character to hold this space, but it looks like the opposing team also got a Watson over there. It's Team Hunt in a Gibby bubble with the PKs. Gets a good crack. Darklight. He's going to be one of 2 as Huntsman finishes off Team Kyrie. It looks like they're getting third-partied instantly. Huntsman 1 HP. He goes down. Darklight gets the res off, but he's going to have to phase out and try and play his life as a solo.
So much damage going down. It couldn't be just 2 squads. Like you said, the third party was coming in and getting involved, and that leaves Darklight just playing as a solo at the moment. And hold on, we see the raid portal coming out of nowhere. Darklight is able to scare them away, but do they know Darklight's by himself? This might be free kills.
Yeah, and he almost took my free kill. He could have had the Wraith right there. She was sitting by herself, but she takes the portal, and he gets 2 good shots off. He needs 1 more. When Team CDs goes down, he does get that KP as he's getting shot in the back. Gonna have to phase, look for a spot to play, as this team will go ahead and finish him off, and Team Hunts is eliminated as Team Vosky is having a little bit of fight on this side of the zone, where we just saw Darklight trying to play, and they will go ahead and clear their side. But now they're gonna have a tough rotate here. They're gonna have to Wraith portal around, unless, okay, Vosky can get up with Sparrow, but as far as his teammates, yep, they're gonna go out to pop an evac, actually. That's a good strategy there, if you don't know, to take up to get a little bit of high ground. Is he gonna get a good stick on the Newcastle? He is getting shot in the side by, it looks like, a duo, but the damage is going crazy. They just need to be able to convert as he goes down to the solo in the corner, but thankfully Mina's on the other side, ready to res as Team Cloaked gets eliminated.
In a non-advantageous position, hits a huge stick, and the max damage leads to the aggression coming out of Team Vosky. The confidence and the audacity out of this squad here brings us down to 5 squads remaining. Team MC end up getting eliminated, and they're trying to get their teammate over. Don't worry, I got you. I got the portal for you.
Yeah, I think they got tired of the evac and sparrow jump, so they went ahead and popped the Wraith portal to guarantee them getting over. Team Real now down below as a duo. I wonder who does have the ultimate high ground here. Real is, they're on the left side here with Gibby, which might work out in their favor. As I say that, they go ahead and get a knock. Someone's going to come through the Ultra Q and knock Real, and it leaves just Sang playing back and forth. As I don't even know what he's looking for. He's going to go ahead and try and arrest Real. And it looks like he will get it off as we have 5 squads with this final zone now closing in on them.
Sang breaking ankles with the altar portals and lives to not only see another fight, but on top of that, you get your Gibby right back up into Team Inferno's very own real time. But more nades going down. You're still not out of the water just yet, Sang. About to let that thing Sang, but right into a fortified bubble. 4 squads remaining. Team Real are gone, and Team Vosky are getting into a fight of their own.
Yeah, it looks like Vosky and Thalos are going to look for some opening damage. Thalos does do a good amount. He has the overflow, but Vosky goes down, and Mina went back with Thalos. They're going to look to try and come back and fight this team as they get the knock, and Team Mari's eliminated, and the third party comes in. Whoever this team is on height has a very nice chance of winning this game, and it's Team Floating.
Team
a great
Floating.
Sentinel shot.
Team Floating completely controlling the fight here. Patience is key on their way to the collapse and just angling out that Newcastle wall down to 2 squads remaining.
As Team Floating has a 1v2 on their hands. Good G7 shots out of Floating. Just needs one more and he gets it. And they will be your champions for game number 2. Very nice shots there.
Looking good in back-to-back wins. Our Team Floating, back-to-back games with Team Floating. They were absolutely excellent in that game number 1. Game number 2, simply no different. And we've been talking about the format. Just to remind you guys, things a little bit different. $3,000 on the line, $500 per game. We know $225 is going to Team Floating, the winners. But keep in mind, we got $225 more to give to the team with the most points total, not including the winners, and then $50 towards your kill leader. Shout out to our sponsors, Nokia, Rivals, and Team Inferno, for the interesting format and one that I want to see in more tournaments.
Yes, it's a very nice format. Like I said, teams getting the ability to get money very early on there. As we see Floating with back-to-back, they're playing clear-cut Apex. I mean, I said as soon as I saw them up there in that building, they had the greatest position in the zone. All they had to do was hold it, and that's exactly what they were able to do. They held the building, and then as soon as they saw the zone pool, they were able to take control of height and come in for an easy third-party wipe-up to win the game.
It was such a good call from you because I feel like we were seeing a lot of different angles outside of Team Floating, that there was teams taking a lot of damage, but nobody was collapsing on them. And then we saw Team Floating's point of view. He said, oh no, there's a reason why they're staying up there. They have God spot. They have no reason to try to give up that positioning for just some easy or maybe consequential KP. They're playing for the win. And I think that was really smart and a very eloquent breakdown by you. You caught that early on.
Yeah, once you see plenty of games, you know high ground is key in a lot of these end games. As we go ahead and look at the scores, and yeah, I mean, Team Floating's team right now, 55 points. That is a huge, huge start for them. I can only assume that they are celebrating pretty well right now. Although there's still 4 more games to go, they have 2 back-to-back so far.
Well, that's the first round going down here, or excuse me, the second round going down, and man, serious money being handed. But why don't we hand out some money in the chat as well? I feel like people in the chat want a little bit of money too. They're watching, they're showing some love. Why don't we do a coins giveaway? Another one, COINS for those of y'all who can't spell coins. Pardon me, COINS if you want to get entered. And mind you, not even just 1, but 2 Apex coins giveaways. 2 giveaways. Make sure you type in coins in the chat.
I'd like to point out that game 2, Floating, kill leader once again. So he is pocketing those $50 again for this game. And as well as its team Dexican, who are in second right now with points. So they will also take up $225 like Floating did for winning.
So
So
things
yeah,
are
it's a
getting a
little
little bit
confusing,
interesting
but
now, though. Like, are now with the teams? Are we switching? I mean, it's 2 games down. What are we doing with
yep.
these teams now?
So yeah, basically the captains stay locked in on their spot, but they will have now two. They'll have a new creator and a new pro, so two new teammates coming in, and they'll obviously still hold their team name, but now they have two new players to sort of try and mesh with as fast as they can before these next 2 games.
It's gonna be serious. You got to make sure we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get. Obviously, the team's switched up. We're getting that solved as well. While we're waiting for that, I guess that's a time for. Why don't you guys join the Discord? !Discord in the chat right now. I mean, if you guys are probably watching this tournament right now, you're seeing all of the action. You're probably like, how can I get involved? You know, how can I get a part of these? Well, I mean, the Discord's open. It's a community one at that. Join the Discord, get involved. We're talking about weekly scrims, and some of them you can actually earn money for. Maybe not with my skill level, because I ain't getting much kills, but I promise you, rivals with the PPK, that's a pay per kill. If you're able to stack up some kills, might stack up your wallet as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just playing ranked on a daily, just to join up, having ranked conversation every day is great as well in our community. But then if you want to take a step further, like we said, and you want to come to PPK to get some kills, go right on ahead. The more, the merrier over here. As yeah, that game. What do you think about the legend comps now that Caustic and most likely Alter are gone? I'll go ahead and check on that, but. With those two heavy hitters out, how do you feel?
I feel like Caustic is toxic. Number one, I feel like Caustic is toxic, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan whatsoever. So I'm so happy that's the first one to get banned and things change up a little bit. Alter, from coming from a very like a Halo and a Call of Duty background, there's a little bit of cheese in the game where I feel like if you get punished, you should actually get punished. And for me, Alter is a big get out of jail free card. And I feel like lots of times you'll get punished, but it's like, oh, don't worry, team's right back in the game. We just won the game. No, if you make a false move in a battle royale, I feel like you should be punished and not be able to get out of that situation as much. So Alter, although I love the Q plays and how you're able to breach and really get so creative, defensively, you got to watch every angle. You got to worry about every team, even solos. I'm a fan of those going out and for teams having to adapt their strategies and get a new fortified legend in or get a new entry fragger or breacher or even a micro rotator in. I'm excited for that. I'm not the biggest fan of Caustic Alter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's completely fair. I mean, especially Alter, been in the meta for a long time. The Apex community has asked for some nerfs. They gave her slight adjustments to where, not every knocked character can take the TP back. But the thing is they can still be recalled. So if you're like Newcastle still alive, takes the TP back, they can just recall you. So it's still essentially almost the same thing. It's still a very, I could say playing against it is very annoying as you're like, we're about to get these kills, and all of a sudden you see the purple flash, and they're gone the other way.
It's absolutely crazy, and like I said, y'all call it rotating, y'all call it zone play. I call it hiding, and if you want to play hide and seek, or at least watch some hide and seek, I promise you, Nokia has your back. $25,000 hide and seek event on November 8th. Make sure you guys check that out. Looks like we're waiting for not only the teams to get formulated, but also the lobby to get ready as well. Floating obviously very comfortable with their team. I wonder how that whole team is going to be able to adapt. I mean, back to back, they were absolutely killing it, but now new squad, new
Yeah.
opportunities. Will we see the same floating?
I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. They had a good dynamic there with A1s and floating having, good experience in these tournaments. And then, of course, confusing QT being that good Watson anchor for their team. Now, like you said, teams change. Is floating going to be able to perform the same? We can only assume so, considering he's been kill leader twice. But we're going to have to see if he's going to win as many games as we just saw him do.
And now we're going to ED, and obviously the newest map in the pool, but people are very comfortable on World's Edge, and even Stormpoint's been out for quite some time. But ED, as far as the competitive circuit, when I was casting Apex on a weekly basis, it was only one map, World's Edge. That was it. That was all that we were playing. Now, I feel like from map to map, you see some slight changes. We talked about Gibby, for example, gets even more valuable on a map like Stormpoint that has vehicles, but maybe not so much on different maps. When going into a map like ED, is there anything that you could expect to see that's going to be very important for our viewers to keep in mind?
I think Wraith for sure is going to be something to keep your eye on. She might even be the game 3 ban, as she has always been great on World's Edge because of these rotations in between buildings. You know, you're trying to get from one spot to this building with the Wraith portal. ED is full of buildings. You think of Fragment or even Monument in World's Edge, it's that across the entire map. So I think Wraith is going to be a very important character for a lot of these teams on their rotates. And especially with Alter gone, they're going to need a way to be able to get to their buildings.
And it's always interesting. Like I wonder, like, as far as from a player that is really aggressive or a damage dealer, I feel like a Wraith is definitely very popular for you. You know, you want to get in there, you want to take off angles because you have, in a sense, have a get out of jail free card for yourself where you're able to queue back towards your teammates if things get a little bit dicey. But then also, I think from like a macro point of view and like even like from an IGL point of view, you're seeing the vision you want to do with your portals from trying to get from point A to point B. Which player, which I guess style player would you want to put on the Wraith? Is it the more aggressive player to get maximum value out of your queue, or is it the more macro player with the rotations and trying to set up things?
I think it really depends, especially in Pro League and Apex Legends. It's all based on trust. If you trust your fragger to go ahead and get a portal into a good spot, then let them be. But sometimes some players, as the IGL, they want to be on that Wraith, so they make sure that they get to the point A and point B the way they want to, and that there's no mistakes. Now today with the Random Royale, it's definitely, you're definitely gonna have a lot of trust in your Wraith if you're not the IGL trying to get to point A and point B.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, moment you've been waiting for, we're getting back into game and we are changing things up just a bit. Why don't we start off with Team Floating? And we got some new players, new composition, and like we talked about before, potentially new opportunity. Talk to me about this Team Floating roster.
I love this roster right now. We've seen how Floating is playing so far. He's got himself another fragger in Ace B Grims, you know, taking over where A1's position was. And then we have Faya, who is going to be playing that anchor role as well, a little bit with Sparrow. Actually, Floating's on Watson, so we might actually see Faya play a little bit of a frag role. That's going to be interesting. It was not the comp I was expecting, but I love this combination of these three players.
We see Faya with the Volt in the back pocket and actually going with the Sentinel. I believe as we were on board with her last game as well, they were favoring the Sentinel even over a weapon like the G7 or 3030. We saw quite a bit of Sentinel action. And you talked about it before, you know, it's newly back on the map for everybody to grab a hold of. And if you got a shot, why not take advantage of it?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're either going to be really good with it because you've played with it for a long time, or a little bit rusty. Since it hasn't been out in a minute, you might be more used to, you know, the G7 Scout and the 3030, but it's going to be fun to see some Sentinel gameplay out of this game from Faya. We'll see what they can do with it as Team Floating is going to work their way out of Heights now into Galleria, but Team Hunt is still here, and so is Team Varap. All looking for the same information, which I can only assume is the ring console out of Galleria. This is a POI on E-District that has a lot of teams rotate over here when they don't get the beacons that they're looking for, because more often than not, Galleria is going to have them for you.
Team Rap has one of my favorite compositions that we just saw where you have the Rampart and the Newcastle. So I like to talk about that as you take unplayable space and you somehow make it playable. Newcastle's ult is perfect for doing that, but so are the Rampart shields as well. It's one of my favorite compositions, and I love, and we see another Rampart here with Team Cloak, but combining that with a little more of a traditional Wraith, and also Sparrow still getting some serious play.
Yeah, of course, we had our very own newly announced creator, Bree, on Sparrow there, so we're going to definitely keep an eye on her and make sure she is doing well as Dan gets a good crack with the Peacekeeper as Rappin comes in swinging, but Dan will go ahead and go down, and now Team Grap looking like a duo. Newcastle down. Things are looking a little dim as Wrapping is now going to be a solo, but he gets a knock, and he can't get the phase off in time as Team Wrap will be eliminated. And we'll find out that, of course, it's Team Floating with the first wipe of the game as they pick up all 3 KP, and they're looking as strong as ever.
And a textbook collapse come out of Floating. It's just fundamentally sound. Isolate a player, immediately melt that player, get the knock, and then no timing loss whatsoever, collapse from multiple sides, make sure that the other team is not able to stabilize, not able to get any reses off, and if you're in a 3v2, even if you don't have the shields that you want, you have that advantage. Sometimes the most valuable resource you have is simply your life. If you go down early, the enemy team is going to make you pay.
As we can see with Team Doll, as the people does unfortunately go down, so will Legendary Doll, as they are unfortunately eliminated, as we saw 2 of them go down very early to Team Mari, who got both of them really weak. We were talking about 1 HP earlier. That was pretty darn close to 1 HP when Team Mari was able to swing up on that. And like you're saying, those entries as well, like as a Wraith player, I'm sure Jay was a big factor there. In that fight. Yeah, as we can see, almost 500 damage. Being able to get 2 of them weak gives a team a easy opportunity to come in and just swing.
18 squads remaining, 53 actual players on the map, and plenty of time before we see round number 1 closing to its completion right now. Team Mari with a very good position. They get information, they have the crypto, they have everything they want, although you can't say the same for Team MC, who lose out on their crypto player. Luckily, the portal should bring them back, and hopefully they can get back to healthy. Team MC, things getting a bit dangerous for them.
Yeah, and I do actually like their composition here. A little old classic here with Wraith Crypto Rampart from a couple seasons ago. This was a very heavy meta comp, especially in Pro League. All you missing is the Ashe. But Darklight going to continue to try and do some wonders on Wraith as they're actually looking to move back up on this building where this other team was at. And it looks like the Newcastle is still up top, and they go ahead and... Oh, they didn't pick up the knock. He got to the portal in time, but the Wraith is going to try and run away. No, they did get the knock. Okay. The kill feed's got me tripping up, I guess, because I didn't see it come up. But Darklight will go and take the portal and look to try and finish off this squad as his and hers and MSC will look to try and find them, as MSC does find him with the crypto drone and is giving Darklight all the information he needs to go and get the wipe. But, oh, the solo does get away with the as, oh my goodness, some great shots out of Lorzy there.
We saw some crazy confidence out of Darklight. The angles that they were taking, they were as aggressive as possible, and things worked out very well for them. Another aggressive player and team so far that we saw in game number 1, game number 2 was Team Bosky. And although things change up just a bit as far as their team, it looks like they're still trying to get into as much action as possible. We see a little less than 2 minutes left in round number 2, and Bosky taking a whole lot of damage. Is that a Vantage I see?
I think it is. I was seeing some shots earlier and I hadn't mentioned it yet, but it's hard to ignore right there as he does get hit by the Vantage. Remember, her sniper also leaves a scan on you for, I believe it's almost 3 seconds, so they can see you for a while. I'd also like to point out Team Bosky. They have Confusing QT as their anchor player here on Rampart, and she was just winning games with Floating the first 2 games, so we'll see. I know that's got to be a weird feeling. You win 2 back-to-back games, you probably don't want to split the gang up, but she's now here with Bosky, and I don't know who else you'd want to be with. Bosky is a great, experienced player, and Vlorzy can shoot his gun very well, as we've seen so far with the R301.
We now get to combine the experience in this tournament with Confusing QT and with the experience in Apex in general with Bosky. You have a dangerous combination for Team Bosky. Switching over to Team Cloak, though, because Cloak himself is getting into some serious damage. You lost out on Bree, and right now looks like you're playing as a duo, but still look pretty comfortable. Still like they're willing to fight, willing to put down damage and play even stronger than they actually might be. And I guess when you have shots like that, you can be confident.
Yeah, Cloaked hits some nasty shots there with the G7 Scout, and Imathelos will continue to push the Mad Maggie ball. Affects him a little bit. He's got infinite bats. He's going to have to queue out of this positioning, reposition, go ahead and hit the heal, and be ready for this fight. Assuming they have not rezzed, this is still a wipeable fight for Team Cloaked, as they'll go ahead and take the Wraith Portal and get aggressive. As they find one playing on the cart, Thalos does go down, and now Cloaked is going to be left to be a solo to try and run away.
The tide turned almost immediately as you already have 3 down, but you lose out on a secondary player as well. It looks like Candy, Team Candy, is getting active as well. Slapped down all the way to one-shot absolute and not able to survive despite the movement from Sparrow. They still end up going down after they leave Candy and Miss Dopey by themselves, trying to fortify this building and portal their Sparrow back. Can they get fully loaded?
And I don't know if you guys caught that, but if you look at the kill feed, it is Team Floating who came in and knocked them. Ace was the one with the original knocks, and now they're having a fight back and forth. Ace gets another, Floating gets one on Candy, and it's just Miss Dopey left trying to fight off this Legion running at her of Team Floating. But it looks like there might be a third party coming in with a crypto ult, and that might save her for a little bit. Looking a little, oh no, she can't get away, and Team Candy is eliminated, followed by Team Cloaked right after. But I'm curious to see if Team Floating was able to get away there, as it looks like that's who they're going to be fighting here, is Team MSC versus Team Floating.
I don't call them floating from now on. I mean flying, maybe soaring, maybe, but definitely not floating. There's nothing slow about the way Floating and Team Floating play. It's really fun to watch. His and hers currently by themselves as a solo and being hunted down. I don't think they're long for this map anymore, and Team Floating able to get the elimination and now look to get their teammates up.
As they do get crypto ulted though in third party for the 4th time, but Ace is not having it. He said back up and let us reset. If not, we'll take you out too.
Puts a shotty to the body of anybody trying to get involved, and that's beautifully played. You lost out on one and was stuck as a duo, and to be able to fight off the res like that is serious. Meanwhile, Team Hunt having a target in their sights, and looks like with enough damage they may just look to collapse. They have to work their way over toward the circle. Eventually they find themselves way too far out, but they also find a team still in the zone.
Yeah, so they're actually fighting Floating right now, and as Ace was trying to get that portal across, that is the Wraith they were looking at, he got the portal down, but then it looks like he looked to try and take some shots, and Team Hunt was able to punish them for it, and now it is just the duo of Team Floating as they're trying their best to run away, but they will not, as Team Hunt will go ahead and take out Floating's team.
Yeah, you think it's unfortunate that Huntsman goes down, but if you have to sacrifice your 1 life to secure the guaranteed kill on an entire squad, you're going to take that trade every given time, especially with no chance of a third party. Meanwhile, looks like there's a second party going on here, and that's Team Zay finishing off their kills. Team Zay confident in the game 1 and game number 2. Things didn't go their way in the early game, but right now Team Zay running things just a bit.
Yeah, they're looking really good here so far in the early game as we got Revengeful on the primed bow check. If you did not know, the bow check now is a feature where you can actually attach a frag grenade, and when the bow and arrow actually hits a enemy, the grenades will start to explode. So on top of the damage that you hit with the arrow, you're also going to have some exploding damage right after, and it is almost like the Sparrow ult. It is very, very confusing when you get hit by it, because it is just panic upon panic as the damage is being poured on you, and you're wondering from where. As the Blink is wondering from where this Wraith came from, as he's going to go check things out and say hello. But he can't find him.
Super speedy with the shotgun now, but still not able to find that Wraith that was rotating away. Meanwhile, we see Zay taking a whole lot of damage here on the screen. That, oh my gosh, looks like we're getting a lot of value off of this Bangalore ult, holding them back right now. And with their backs against the zone, what does Team Zay do? Do they try to rotate wide, or do they have to fight their way forward?
Honestly, if I'm Team Zay, I'm looking to try and probably wrap around, or maybe fight the teams in the tunnel, as that's what Blink is doing here. He's getting some great 30-30 shots. He goes down, but it should just be a cleanup for their team. Revengeful now swings in. They all take the portal back, so they can go ahead and get the reset with Blink. Now my question is, does this team continue to aggress on Zay, or are they free to rotate via that tunnel now? I'm not sure, as we quickly panned over to Mari. And yeah, we saw that zone. This tunnel on their left is completely clear now, so they get to go ahead and have a free rotation in here. I'm not sure if that Wraith team came from this tunnel or from a different position, but it looks like they had the same idea, which was to rotate this way.
Team Z have never met a fight that they're not willing to take. However, the high IQ play to rotate the other way still might end up into yet another fight. No matter where Zay try to go, it looks like there's a team trying to angle them out. They find themselves in the circle, but not sure exactly that's the positioning that they want. And as they lose some of their shields, it looks like they're able to fortify this room. Hold on, though. The damage goes down. So does the shot. He gets put to the body real quick. Blink with the Mastiff. Now the shield battery comes up. It looks like almost everybody fully loaded, and an aggressive Blink swerving the corner. He's hungry and he's willing to hunt.
Unfortunately, they got shot from their east side, and they're actually getting aped. I don't know who this is, but they're looking even more aggressive than Team Zay right now, as it's Madness' team coming in, and it's just Zay left alive. Can he clutch it up? And unfortunately, Madness is the one that comes out on top with the Peacekeeper. I'm not gonna lie, that might have just been gun diff. Peacekeeper to R9, you saw the difference there a little bit.
And then the problem is,
rotates in.
And the problem is that Zay and Sadie's are good friends here. You know, the fact that Team Sadie's were able to take them out, that might create a little bit of animosity right there. This is all about networking, not making enemies.
Yeah, you might hear about it on Twitter, at least in the Discord channels a little later, as we are on Team Mari. The solo Crypto trying to get his fins and pick up at least some points here, as his teammates will be back in the zone. As soon as he gets his drone back, he can go invisible, but he couldn't get it before somebody looked at him, and he will be eliminated. And I believe it was Vlorsi, yeah, who is now your kill leader with 5 here on Team Vosky, who goes ahead and has very good awareness to find that Crypto and pick up that KP.
7 squads remaining right now. One of them, obviously, Team Vosky, may not be in the circle just yet here. 39 seconds, they might have to try to find their way in. But I was going to say the height advantage is serious, but apparently the shot's even better. Luckily, should be able to res and stabilize, but time quickly winding down. What exactly is Team Vosky's play? Meanwhile, Team Atlas, they're looking to fight as well.
Like I said, Team Vosky in a really great building to potentially win this game. All they got to do is step out late and play the wall there up on the height. And that, as long as they can stay alive, it could be a win. We'll have to wait and see, though, because anything could happen in the game of Apex Legends, as we see Team Atlas getting a revive on their Watson. As we see the infamous Shiv Bangalore. When you think of Shiv, you might think Lifeline first, but after that, you definitely think of Bangalore, as he loves this character and has countless amount of hours. And he is partnered up with Cersei here, which is going to make for an aggressive comp that Gav is going to have to hold off. As they're looking to swing with the P20s, Karev doing a lot of damage to hold them back. Some great angles, and he has so much damage. Gav and the Watson just need to help him out a little bit, but Gav goes down, and it leaves it to what I believe is a 1v1. Shiv, miss a deal. Who wins it? Shiv just trying to break through the knockdown shields. He still has the PK. Mr. Deal gets a little bit of healing off, places down some Watson fences. And Shiv's gonna have his smoke here, and I can only assume he's gonna use it to break it, but he timed it a little wrong, and he gets stunned and goes down. And Team Gav, a very successful but nail-biting ending to stop that push.
And that is a fight that usually Shiv ends up winning, and unfortunate as he goes down, so does the squad, and we go down to 5 squads remaining. Meanwhile, what do you think about the positioning here? 32 seconds right now as we're trying to portal over towards this wall. Are we looking comfortable? Is Team Vega?
Vega, yes.
Vega,
so
sorry.
I was actually going to point out that Vosky and them did not end up taking that height, and Vigug's team takes it, so that could be a potential game-winning spot, as Team Gav had just fended off another push And it looks like they weren't doing too bad. They got a couple of the kills there, but they're down to just the solo of Karev now as he finds himself in a 1v2 situation. And unfortunately, he could not win it as Team Gav is eliminated. Team VGUK is actually, they're playing very aggressive. I'm not sure where the other teams are on the map, but they're playing the entire zone. They're not up top anymore. They're down here looking for kills. I actually have zero clue where the other teams are.
And Yvonne looking like they want to get aggressive here. It looks like now the drum bum is in position. They're just waiting because they know it's the opposition that have to make a decision. Are you going to sit there or are you going to try to break out? Either way, it looks like Team VGUK is ready to fight and ready to limit their options. 4 squads, 10 players on the map, and it looks like they might have to focus on something else because right behind our Bangalore player, it looks like there's another fight that they're willing to take.
Yeah, I wonder if the team down low can come up. That's honestly going to be the game changer here for Team VGUK as the other two teams in Voski go down. And I believe it was Team Boogie that were fighting it out. And now VGUK in a good position to potentially third party if they can force these two teams to fight.
VGUK with the RE45 out. Wands here with the triple take ready and gets a little bit of damage down, wants to commit but knows that the angles are being watched from multiple sides. Portals back at least momentarily to cover their teammates back, but look at all the damage, all the screen clutter. I don't even know what's happening.
As Team Kyrie is trying to live through all the clutter, they now look like they're in the position to potentially win this game. As the Team Boogie does go down, and it's a 3v3 between Team VGUK and Team Kyrie. And A1s gets the initial knock. It's a 1v2, good 108 hit. And he's looking to wipe it up as it's just a solo Wraith, and Team Kyrie go ahead and pick up the game 3 win.
It's new teams and a new winner in Team Kyrie. Looking confident, and we were talking about Noob King earlier and their ability to stay alive, get some good angles, put some damage down, and now look at them on Team Kyrie thriving in a huge win.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about floating earlier because obviously he is the captain, so it is his team. But I'd like to shout out A1s who just won that game and has now gone back to back to back. 3 games, he's won all 3, which is insane to think about.
Hey, I mean, you know, it can't be a coincidence. I mean, obviously there's something there. If you just keep winning, we got to find out exactly what A1 ate this morning. And you know what? I'll take 2 if you don't mind.
I'm going to need a little bit of that luck for my next tournament. But yeah, that means A1's here has picked up a lot of cheddar to his pockets. As remember, the game winners pick up 225. So times that by 3. My math people, you got me. That's how much A1s has already won so far.
And mind you guys, just to remind you of the format, like we kind of alluded to, $225 for the game winner, another $225 to the team with the most points, excluding the winner of the game, and $50 towards the kill leader, which if I'm reading that right, I believe technically you could win the game and be the kill leader, actually. So you might be able to double up at least on that part. And again, just shout out to our sponsors, Nokia and Rivals. Nokia obviously hosting a $25,000 hide and seek tournament on November 8th. I'm going to make sure that I check that out. But with the whole PPK style where, hey, there's some teams that aren't worried about zone, aren't worried about the end game, that just want to put down damage. Rivals PPK style, but kind of similar, having every Tuesday you can get yourself involved at 8 p.m. Eastern. But looks like our scoreboard's about to be ready here soon, and I can't wait to take a peek at that because things have changed a lot between Game 1 and Game 2.
Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors Nokia and Rivals for making Be The Change 2 possible. We actually got to meet Nokia in person at the ALGS Open, and they sponsored this tournament on the spot. They believed in it as soon as I mentioned it, and I couldn't be more grateful for their generosity. They even invited me to experience Apex over Wi-Fi by playing in their 1v1 booth at the LAN. Next, I want to thank Rivals for not only sponsoring Be The Change 2, but also sponsoring Team Inferno overall. all. They've directly helped us bring more opportunities to the Apex community regardless of your skill level using their unique platform called Pay Per Kill. You literally get paid for every kill you get in Apex. If this sounds fun to you, make sure you join us every Tuesday night for Inferno Pay Per Kill nights with Rivals. The link to register is below. To both Nokia and Rivals, thank you so much for believing in Team Inferno's mission to increase representation of marginalized communities in gaming. And to everyone watching, please make sure you check out the links below to support our sponsors. Their help makes all this possible.
Again, a huge shout out to Nokia and Rivals for sponsoring Be the Change 2, and would not be possible without either of them. And a little bit more advertisement to hit your way. We want to talk a little bit about the Inferno merch. If you haven't got your hands on any of it, make sure to head on over to our website. We have 2 newer designs here in the Spread the Flames. On the left, as you can see, with the sort of Japanese style, the Violet Pyro, is the name of that t-shirt. And then on the right, we have the Blaze Blob that we can give a little bit of a retro gamer vibe there. I personally own both these t-shirts and wear them very, very often. So make sure to get in contact with one of our affiliates or just head straight on over to the website to get your hands on one of these shirts today.
Yeah, I can promise you, if you look good, you will often game good. And in fact, my boy Pre says that if your accuracy doesn't improve by a minimum of 25% while wearing this shirt, he's going to personally send you $500 on your next month. Personally, Pre, I'm going to tell you, man, you're absolutely fantastic. That's how confident he is. Again, you look good, you game good, you shoot good. Make sure you get involved.
Exactly, for sure. As we go ahead and take a look at the scoreboards, yeah, A1's just, it's hard not to talk about that 3 back-to-back wins. He's got to be excited. He's going on vacation this summer with all the money he's building up so far. And I'd like to point out that Cersei was actually the kill leader for that last game as well. So Cersei, we got a new kill leader that will be taking away $50 from the prize pool for that game. As the backup team, I believe it's a little harder to tell now who are not second place, but the team with the most amount of points, excluding the winner. It's a little confusing, but that team goes ahead and takes $225 away. But now with the scoreboard all jumbled up, it's a little harder to tell who exactly that was. But I'm sure they are very excited to get their hands on some money as well.
Yeah, luckily it's our job to just to kind of cast the games. We'll let League Ops figure the math out on that one because obviously, as you guys probably already recognize, casters are not notoriously the greatest at math. I don't know what it is. I think in order to be a caster, you have to be bad at math. But it's been fantastic over the course of 3 games. Is there anything that you've learned so far within these 3 games that has maybe surprised you or that you enjoyed seeing as we get back to World's Edge?
Obviously, again, you can't go without talking about A1's. Honestly, I know he's a great player, but it does surprise me that he is able to be a part of teams that won 3 back-to-back games. I am surprised that we haven't seen as much Bangalore, but I'm sure we'll see a little bit more when we head back on over to Stormpoint. Other than that, it's been pretty exciting to see all the Gibby Bubble fights, I gotta say. Gibby Bubble fights are personally one of my favorites, and we've had some pretty entertaining ones so far.
Well, we're going over towards Team Floating. Floating has been serious so far throughout the first 2 games, obviously, but also even that 3rd game. The fights that they get into, they are confident, and they really push out textbook. And, Floating's happy about that G7 Scout. They stopped almost immediately. They were pocketing that.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like you said, they picked up a lot of KP last game. So even though... Oh, he just made that jump. Hold on. That was close. But even though they didn't have high placement, they had a lot of kills to add up to those points. And remember, the team with the most amount of points other than the winning team takes some money. So I'm sure Team Floating still fared pretty well after that last game. We saw them wipe at least 2 different squads over in Eagles draft point area there on them last game. This game, it looks like a little further return as well. We can just tell by the mini map that they got a little ways to go. That arrow is looking like it stretches way too far away from Climatizer.
And by the way, speaking of getting money like these competitors are, you guys can get yourself some serious coin by typing in coins in the chat here. It looks like they haven't done the giveaway. They haven't rolled it just yet. So 2 coin giveaways that you guys get involved right here, right now. Do it before it's too late. At that point, it's just free money at that point. As we're seeing the ammo get looted up. Still 20 squads on the map. And I always open my big mouth too soon. Looks like we're down to 19.
Yes, Team Boogie does go down. Yes, make sure to type coins if you haven't already. You want your next heirloom skin that you're looking for? This is your opportunity to get your coins to be able to buy it. As we see Team Ka, Hambino going down early here as Ka is looking for an angle on the team that took him down. And ew! Some great shots out of Ka to get the knock on Zay. So it is Zay's team who actually took out Hambino, but it looks like Ka and the boys will go ahead and back up and try and get a reset off on Ham and not get further aggressive.
As right now, Cut and Amina playing as a duo until they're able to get Hambino back up. So a smart retreat out of them, despite the damage they were able to put down here. Meanwhile, Team Cloak don't like they're retreating just yet. In fact, we see Cloak himself getting active up close and personal, but ends up being put down. The Peacekeeper is unforgiving.
And for our more casual viewers, if you didn't understand how Cloak just made that movement, because he clearly swung around there like crazy, that is a wall bounce that he just performed. And a lot of players practice these type of movements on a daily. Cloak, one, of course, that does that plenty. As Thalis here, we'll go ahead and help him out to take out Team Viguk.
Always love watching the Movement Kings. I can't manage to get the movement down pat like that, but it is so satisfying to watch some of the best in the world do that. They're able to get cloaked right back up as we're down to 18 squads right now. Round number 1's actually not even done. This is a very fast action that we're looking at here. It looks like we're about to see some more. That was a Mad Maggie wrecking ball, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, as it's Team Floating here, we're looking their way into Monument. It looks like whoever is here has not left just yet. Maybe still getting info or looting up. The Team Floating looks like they just want to move their way across. But as soon as I say that, Floating looks over and it pops the smoke, and it looks like he wants to get a little more aggressive. Now as he is flung in the face by a Crypto who is 1 HP. Ace goes ahead and gets the knock. Fire will go ahead and pop the Sparrow ult and deal some damage as Ace is gonna look to pop a bat and potentially get aggressive here as they have a 2v2.
While Floating was looking around for that Crypto drone, it was the Crypto that swerved the corner real quick, puts them down. It looks like Ace takes height and is looking for the remaining pieces, finds one, and the Peacekeeper just does maximum damage. We saw a bit of a wall bounce again used defensively, but it is not enough as Team Mary go down, and looks like Ace is getting into some more action, but look how confident the shots are. Team Wink end up getting eliminated, and Ace is not slowing down for anything.
Yeah, the boys at Inferno, shout out Ace and Ka, they are looking both very aggressive on separate teams for once, but right now they are both moving, especially with their G7 shots. Ace looking to try and land a PK shot on Seed, and he does. We'll go ahead and pick up the knock as there's only a solo left on Team Seed. If they were actually looking to try and third party, it was a little late. The Team Floating was able to get a reset off, but now Team Floating is going to look to actually be the ones rotating.
And again, before round 1 is even done, we're down to 16 squads. It could be 15 with the way the Team Floating is getting active right now. They are on the chase. They are on the hunt. And Volt is out and does decent from the mid-range. Peacekeeper does end up putting fire down, but it's Team Ace and our Team Floating that bring the fire. We have a new kill leader, and you shouldn't be surprised. It is the ultra-aggressive Ace.
Yes, he did a great job there playing with his team to go ahead and get to the remaining KP. Remember, every point counts in this game as we see Team Dexican trying to pick up some points here as he got some good G7 shots. They're going to be 1 HP, but he can't quite connect for enough to try and pick up the knock as it looks like the zone is pulling towards Lava Siphon area. As we can see in the mini-map, they're still trying to rotate their way over. But there's a couple of these teams that might stand in their way. We'll see how they fare.
Haven't seen much of Crook so far, but obviously a very capable player here and one of the top players you have to watch out for. 45 players on the map. He currently has a kill and almost 600 damage right now does Crook. But I think what's most important is you are fully loaded. You have the Bangalore ult. You have a ton of utility. Crook wants to get aggressive and looks like they're ready to do just that.
Yeah, I was talking about earlier how I wanted to see more Bang, and Crook is on Bang, so we're going to have to see what else he can cook up as he already has a kill and 600 damage. But we moved on over to Team Cloaked, who are taking a fight over here at launch site. The Bang ult does come down from the opposing team, but Dalis has an amazing angle, and he takes out Legendary Doll, and they're going to look to get aggressive. Cloaked gets swung, gets a nice knock with the PK. It's just one more. Dalis is going to come in and clean things up as Cloaked and the boys pick up 3 KP on Team Doll.
Team Cloaked only know putting the pedal to the metal. There is no brakes on this card. That is a huge wipe to bring us down to 14 squads. And it looks like they have a little bit of time to try to rotate in towards the zone. But at this point, I wonder if they will be held out. Is there any teams that are already positioned where they want to rotate towards?
Yeah, as we can see with Team Atlas, they're over here holding out a team that's trying to rotate into their position. As Cersei takes a good amount of damage, he's going to go ahead and heal majority of this team without much shields as he gets a Maggie Ball to the face. He's also going to have to tank this Bangalore ult. Unless he can move away from it, he does. And I'd like to point out there's a great example of the new nerfed Ash Dash. The Ash Dash used to be able to go really far and really fast. We can see there the movement is still good, but not as good as before, as their Watson will unfortunately go down.
Team Atlas, obviously a very strong team. Having Cersei and Shiv on the same team is serious work, but now it's Cersei by themselves trying to find the exit route right now, and looks like they might be able to do so. End up in the circle, so at least safe momentarily, but are they going to be able to get their teammates back up?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The Ash TP going to get him closer and closer to that, as there is a crafter here at Geyser. The question is there another team here as well? We'll have to wait and find out, as Gav and the boys, Karev on Bang, love to see it. As, oh my goodness, he gets hated and Mad Maggie Balled, but it's almost like it didn't affect him. He does not care. As he pops the Bang smoke and starts swinging out, they already have a knock. They're looking for the re-knock and some huge car shots, and he gets both. He just needs one more to get the full squad wipe. Can he do it? As his teammates look for the remaining solo, who is running away. As you can see at the top of Gav's screen there, those some great shots out of the boy Karev.
Karev is an absolute maniac. Did you see every nade and drill that was thrown their way? And they just find a way to just bust right through the front door. And it's still Team Gav that are on the attack right now. Karev still up close here, and looks like they're going to get themselves a bit of utility for their aggressiveness. Beautifully played, but Team Gav not done. They're still pressing forward.
I was going to say, Karev was very calm and poised there with all those Mad Maggie drills and nades. I know I would be panicking, moving in circles, probably getting hit by more than what they threw, but he did a nice job of doing well. But Team Real comes out from there, and we see Hackis, who we haven't seen too much from today, with Real. A nice matchup there between the two of them, trying to post up in this building as they are getting heavily naded. They got the Newcastle walls down, but not a Watson gen, so they're going to have to heal. But Real goes down, and oh my goodness, it looks like they're getting pinched on two sides, getting shot out the window and in front of them, as we can see that Newcastle peek for a second. But Sweets and Hackis are still alive and can potentially keep this game moving for them.
And there's a second knock here that's going to leave Hackis by themselves. Without that Watson generator, they weren't able to stop all of the ordinances that were flying at them. Unfortunate for Team Real, but we did notice that Hackis is able to get out with their lives here, so this might be valuable for them.
Yeah, and shout out our admin, Hacks, who is a big fan of Hackies. So love the little H names there. And I'm sure he is breathing calmly now that Hackis was able to grab the beacons of his teammates. As we move on over to who else but Team Floating, taking a fight on this part as they swing in the Sparrows and the Watson. Fences slow down Faya, but she's still able to get the knock, and I believe it's either one or two more on the other team as Floating will look to full kill the batteries as I think they're getting shot at by another team.
Whenever we're looking for some action, we just hop on board with Team Floating. It's a very simple rule as we have on the Observant and Production team, but it looks like Floating rotated their way over toward the backside, and then on flank route is the opposition putting some damage on them, but they're still looking to not slow down. It looks like they still want to press that action while Team Cloak are looking for some players trying to rotate in towards the circle. Here comes Team Floating.
We're going to swing in on the Newcastle. Great shots with the Volt. Got the triple tick up, and it's just one more, and Team Real does go out, but they're still looking for the solo on this other team they were fighting. No, it's a third party from I don't know who this is. But they're going to be playing right below the bridge. Team Floating with the advantage on the height. We'll see if there's any characters on the other team that can turn the tide. You might see a Sparrow jump up here soon as Faya goes in and pops one of her ultimates on the zip line rail so that they can't get up easily.
Ace of the Mad Maggie is your kill leader right now. 6 kills, almost 2,000 damage, and a knowledge on exactly what enemy is, and confidence in order to hit the shots. And the Peacekeeper definitely keeping the peace, or raising hell on their way to taking Team Gav down. 10 squads remaining, and holding on to the kill leader is Ace.
With 7 kills, he might secure himself $50. We'll see. Cersei had 7 kills last game and secured kill leader. We'll see if anybody else is even close, as we've seen Floating in majority of action. But now, we switch on over. Team MC trying to rotate their way into this zone as it does end in stacks. Now, there's plenty of buildings to play, but the question is, can you get there in one piece? As it looks like they are going to. I don't want to jinx them, but they're all looking to heal and take this floor of this building.
Getting to a position safely is easier said than done, especially with Cloak coming in just to throw a wrecking ball at you. That's some serious damage going down, but a distraction that they're able to fully heal. Meanwhile, we have our Bangalore player trying to angle out with the G7 Scout, getting involved as much as possible as yet another team gets eliminated. That's Team Rap.
We're back to Floating over here as they're looking to loot up on their kills, and they actually got a spot in zone. I would love to find out how they rotated over here, but they were over by the bridge, mind you, and now they're all the way in the direct middle of zone in a comfortable building here. And let's see the zone pops, see how comfortable it is. But Team Hunt, they're going to try and pick up some kills right there, but they couldn't quite get them. They're going to try and nade and hold off as they hear the crypto drone and the reses going outside, so they're going to go ahead and trade reses. The catalyst door coming in very handy there to sort of block them off from being able to reswing, as it looks like they'll get a full reset.
Able to fortify up just a bit here with this building with multiple layers. I wonder if there's going to be an opportunity to maybe coexist with any squads. 9 squads at the moment, and I would imagine that there might be some coexisting, maybe not in this building, but another, but looks like there's no friends here. They want to get active. They want to clear this entire house. Do Team Cloak. The wrecking ball is what creates all of that chaos, and the initial damage that they need have to avoid some of the nades coming right back at them, and Cloak is going to catch all of that frag.
He had some good damage there with his nades, but equally so done back to him, and it looks like there's at least one left above them trying to run away, as Team Cloaked picked up some good KP here. Cloaked with 4 kills so far with 6 assists. They got a lot of kills so far this game, at least 10, and it looks like it's going to be pretty spread out as well, which is very interesting with this composition, especially considering all these characters are extremely aggressive characters.
Looks like Team Cloak has the information that this squad, or at least one of the squads that are in the opposite building from them, might want to push up or at least exit. They're just taking advantage of that, just getting free shots in the back of all of these players. The third party is serious, and so is the Team Wipe. That's going to be Team Hunt going down, and Team Atlas trying to survive.
Yeah, unfortunately Atlas does go down, but Cersei, your kill leader from last game, and Shiv are still up. They're looking to maybe try and get the res off him, but now they're going to have to exit from the first floor And we know the Team Cloaked is hard looking at this door, looking for some KP opportunity as they go ahead and finish off Atlas. Throw some nades. I can only imagine this is going to be a really tough rotate for the boys as he tries to get the TP off. He gets to height, but everybody is looking at him, and he's 1 HP. And it's Novoski who got that last kill. Wow.
Team Atlas found himself in multiple disadvantageous positions throughout this game and finally are taken down, this time going to be in 7th place. Meanwhile, Team Floating, who have just been aggro on everybody in sight, they're looking comfortable at the moment, 39 seconds until we see yet another zone pull, and that's going to force all 6 of these squads to engage.
What I like to point out is they're doing a nice job of getting a building in zone, holding. They have all the armor swaps they can want, and they also have your top 2 in kills right now. Ace has 8, but Floating has 9. They are battling it out between each other for this kill leader this game.
Well, hold on, guys. You guys are teammates. Well, first worry about the win. That's $225, and then we worry about everything else. My gosh. 6 squads remaining. 30. But Peter in the hand of fire at the moment here. Right now, just softening up the players from across the map, just putting down that damage. Nobody willing to overcommit just yet. Especially with Final Zone about to be moving here soon. One false move will cost you your life and potentially the game.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out that there's still 5 other squads, so a lot more KP opportunity for Team Floating, which is insane considering how much they already have. And it looks like they're in a position to get a good amount here too, as these teams are gonna have to eventually move out from their positions. As we can see, Faya getting ready to go and pop the Sparrow ult and get some damage off to make that team be forced out into the open. As Cloak picks up some KP in the kill feed. Floating could not quite see anything there, but now they might.
It's important to note that Team Floating don't have any fortified legend, any defensive legend at the moment here, so their only strategy must be to get aggro and to wipe the entire lobby. And the zone is closing in slowly, but it also hurts. And here comes one piece of utility, and that's going to be the ultimate bombardment coming down here from Bangalore. Meanwhile, Blink holding on to that height advantage for as long as possible. Love the positioning by Team Zay.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot, but unfortunately this height is not in for long, so they're going to have to eventually drop down somewhere as Team Floating is eliminated. They finally stop the kill chaos, but look at the chaos happening before Zay as Blink falls from the heavens, looking for some shots. We switch on over to Cloaked. Also can't tell what's going on as multiple teams just died. Can Cloaked win this game? It looks like there's at least one down below, but now he's swinging up onto Thalis, and Cloaked is also going to be very weak as they both go down, and it's Team Zay who come out with the win. They fall from the heavens and make it happen.
Absolutely incredible. They saw their window of opportunity and they kicked it in and infiltrate. Absolutely amazing. You talked about it before. They were sitting on that height. It was fantastic advantage for quite some time, but you said the zone not gonna allow them to sit there for long. They had to fall. They had to actually win those fights and really make their presence known, and they're able to do that. Team Zay, huge on that one.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, they were at a disadvantage being down low, just finishing a fight in the middle of resetting as we see Cloaked and the boys come and try and third party them, but they were still able to fight back and take the win in a very exciting end game there.
My gosh. We already know who's taking home that $225 for that game. Again, we remind you of the format, $500 per game, $225 for the team that wins, $225 for the team with the most points, excluding the game winner. And again, $50 for the kill leader. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these teams favoring the zones and playing for the wins. But you're also seeing a lot of aggressive composition, a lot of an aggressive meta because, hey, if you're not playing for the win, might as well play for the kills.
Yeah, exactly. As we obviously saw Team Floating doing there, and I believe Floating ended up kill leader. We'll have to double check, but he had 9, and I don't think Ace was able to get another. A tie would have been very interesting. They may have to have had a little discussion there on who gets what, but Now that game ends, that ends us with 4 games. So we are now switching teams again. So one more time now, each captain is going to get a new pro player, a new content creator, and for their last 2 games.
And you talked about one player in specific, I believe it was Awan, who was on the winning squad for game 1 and game number 2, ended up on the winning squad for game number 3 as well. Is there anything that you noticed from them, whether it's a legend or a play style? I mean, they just have good vibes. How are we seeing so much winning out of Awan?
I think he's overall just a very comfortable player, a player that has put tons and tons of hours into this game. And when you do that, you can be very comfortable in these games. You know what's going on, you know what you can control. And I think that's just, he's done a great job of doing that as we see him at second right now on this scoreboard.
And we just got official word from League Ops, floating your kill leader for game number 4. And I mean, I don't think anybody's really too surprised by that. They were flying all over the place. It was, I believe it was Ace that was giving them a run for their money, but it just seems like floating has a very aggressive play style. He wants to get into, they want to get into the action as much as possible. Doesn't matter who their teammates are, doesn't matter what the position is. They want to put down damage, and they're damn good at it.
Yeah, for sure. And I also got a little recon with the game 3 and game 4 bans in now, of course. We did have Wraith banned in game 3. If you remember that E-District game, we were talking about how many people were playing Wraith. It was enough to get her banned. And after this game, we unfortunately see Bangalore go away now in game number 4. So it's going to be pretty interesting who you decide to put your fraggers on now. There's still some great options, of course, in like Ash and Mad Maggie, but a lot of those heavy hitters are out very early.
And if I'm Shiv, I take that personally. Man got target banned right there as Bangalore no longer going to be involved. But I mean, you said it. There's already a lot of legends that add a lot of different value, different utility, where Bangalore does give you a crazy amount of maybe rotate potential with the smokes. Even entry frag, busting down doors and creating chaos. And obviously that ultimate that could do some serious damage. Well, I think of a Mad Maggie. Mad Maggie is fantastic for entry frag, entry damage, and free damage with that drill at times. And the Wrecking Ball gets you into the fight or also even away from a fight. So I personally would rather have a Bangalore. I love that speed boost. I love what Bangalore can do on an individual standpoint as well from a team standpoint. But there's no doubt that Mad Maggie is serious in the meta.
No, for sure. You love your entry fraggers being able to have abilities that can take away from the controller players like Watson, like Caustic. The Bang Smoke, the Maggie Drills can activate those early. So when your whole team swings in, they have no issues of running into those sort of abilities.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, like you said, 4 games down, but we still have couple more to go here. We're doing 6 games total, and as much money as we are handing away to our competitors, we're also handing some serious coin to you guys at home. I think I saw saying is competing in the tournament also won a giveaway, so anybody can get involved. Honestly, at this point, I think I need to start. Hold on, let me type in right now, because all you gotta do is type in coin, COINS, and you're involved. I'm just saying. I mean, we're leaving coin on the table if we're not entering the giveaway. There's 2 giveaways per game.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure to hit those up. Like I said earlier, you're looking for a new skin that you got your eyes on or a new heirloom. You can buy yourself some packs with those Apex coins. So make sure you don't miss out on the opportunity. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance, even the viewers, to get their hands on some prizes today, which makes things very, very exciting. As we move into this game 5, how do you think players like Floating and A1s are going to adjust now that they have another set of teammates to play with now?
Well, I think what's really important from a player that wants to get aggressive is just to like be honest and communicate with your teammates. Talk about what your play style is and how you want to engage certain situations, and then use that same level of communication in the middle of the game. Oftentimes when I hear maybe some obviously not so much in this tournament, but maybe some top amateur players, even lower amateur players playing in some of the big tournaments, one thing I feel that's missing is a good level of communication. It's not just about calling out where a player is or maybe some things that are a little bit more obvious on the map, but small talking. When you're ready to push, you need to announce that. When your shields are broken and you cannot push up, you need to tell your fragger that so that they approach the situation a different way. I think a good level of communication gets your whole team on the right page going into the game. But then on top of that, while you're in the game and taking engagements, taking fights, and how you want to approach it, small talking and communication also can save your life or maybe end your opponent's life at that. So for me, it's just good communication. I think it's just an undervalued trait in today's competitive gaming.
No, for sure. I definitely agree. And to build upon that, transparency at the beginning of the game is also key. If you've ever played in a random royale, you get the introductions quickly out of the way, and then it's like, okay, IGL, how do you want to play? These are the characters I know how to play. Tell me what to do. And get right into it as our competitors are about to right here, diving into game number 5 on Stormpoint.
Taking a quick look at some of the teams here, I see Girl and Cersei on the same squad. That's going to be real strong. But also, I think I see Adjuvants and Huntsman on the same squad as well. So some of these teams are just kind of jumping out to me that are names that I recognize as being serious competitors that end up on the same squad. Those are the ones you really have to worry for. Because when you have two players that are maybe playing at a pro level or that are really confident in the gunny, that could be dangerous for any of our competitors on the map.
For sure. And if you're that third teammate, right? Both your teammates are very confident, very experienced players. You want to just do whatever you can to help them out. I am just fully locked in on listening to what they're saying, what they're swinging, and I make sure I'm there to res or finish up the fight as best as I possibly can.
I'll be honest with you. I feel like I'm kind of in the same situation. I don't even mind playing a character obviously way outside the meta, but a player like a Bloodhound to just give micro information to my fragger. Like if I could give you a free scan when you're trying to approach a gunfight or even a crypto, I feel like I can help a lot in that way more than I can from missing Peacekeeper shots because that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Peacekeeper meta is it's a hard debate in the comp community because it takes skill to hit your shots with the PK, but like any shotgun, if you're up close, you're hitting 108s, and it's like, okay, so is it skill or is the gun just really good? It's hard to tell, but in my past experiences, the shotguns have always been a tough gun to master, so it is very fun to see guns like the PK come out and be meta currently.
And when we talk about some of these close-range weapons, like shotguns being the meta weapons, it kind of lends to how you want to play with a character as well. So, for example, I see New King on the Pathfinder, and I think about oftentimes where if you're able to get an initial crack on your opponent, which say for a G7 Scout or a 30-30, activating on damage is huge, especially from a competitive level. Apex, you have to be quick and decisive when you're pushing up. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting a third party or allow your enemy team to get their resources up and come right back at you. So I think a Pathfinder, although maybe a weirder pick, I would say competitive, or maybe not the most common, I can see the vision with that. And I can see the vision with maybe playing some more Newcastles. That's a mobile shield that you can play around and control the gunfight. Gibby meta back in the day was all about that bubble fights. And I feel like Newcastle is kind of similar, except the shield moves. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually something surprising that we haven't seen a lot of is Newcastles in some of our scrims and other scrims as well. He is a character that is banned pretty early on, but right now he's still in the game, and I haven't seen too many teams running him just yet. But like you're saying, he's a great addition to your team with the Q, with the ult, to being able to, give yourself some cover as we get a nice panel view of this fight that's about to break down here between Zay, and I believe Mari was down below them, but there's another team shooting them from the building a little east to trying to get involved as well.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Team Zay has never met a fight they don't want to take. As Zay does go down momentarily, they may have an opportunity to get right back up, try to get the crypto drone out of the sky. Don't want to give enemy team any free information, but as the drone gets detected, New King wants to hold the line.
Yeah, it looks like he's already preemptively looking to run away. Whoever's IGLing definitely has already calmed that, as Zay and them actually do get the reset, though. So now they find themselves in a hard spot, but you can see he's still putting the thumbs up. He's still trekking along. It's okay. He's going to work his way out of this.
It's like that one beat when like they're in the office building and there's like fire all around you. Like it's fine. Everything is fine. No, it's not.
It's all good.
You're surrounded, brother. You need to find some way out, and the only thing you will find is your maker as you get knocked.
Yeah, as now Thalos would be the one trying to run away, as Zay looked to try and grab his banner but could not quite get there as he gets shot from the PK, and it looks like it's MSC's team that comes in. And yeah, like I said, Mari's team is still down low, kind of chilling, but it looks like Cat's trying to get involved with them, as well as Hambino. And we have a crypto happening on this building, and they're looking to get aggressive on Team Mari.
Loaded up right now, the Watch defenses are down, but somehow the enemy team's still able to breach and infiltrate. Gotta dodge all of that clutter. That includes the Maggie drill, which would shred your shield. See, Sadie's end up getting eliminated here, and I don't know if that was a misfire or was that a body disrespect. Oh, well, I do know, and that's a knock right there. The fight ain't over. Mary goes down, and so does our Watson player. That's gonna leave Hambino by themselves, and I'm seeing Hambino shields get shredded, and the same with their health.
Yeah, he's going to do his best to run away, as his teammates are going to get finished now. Maggie is a good character to run away, but he can't quite do it. We didn't get to see the POV, but we saw his health bar just dwindle down, unfortunately, as it looks like we might have a cascade zone. We haven't looked at the map too much just yet, but as we see this panel POV, we have 3 teams posted up in here, so I can only assume that this is where the zone's going to be going.
Yeah, they're definitely getting that information here, and there's a reason why we see multiple teams hunkered down in these buildings, and maybe a bit of coexisting happening there for now. But I mean, you guys still got to farm your evos. I mean, you still got to get some damage in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as far as zone teams, like we were talking about earlier, you want these guns like the G7 to do damage to get your Evo up. But blue to purple is a long way. As we can see, Shiv still needs 500 there. But over here, Team Wink is now going to take a fight over by Thunderwatch, as Girl is going to be really weak, and I think they're getting third-partied. But Cersei goes ahead and picks up a knock, and he's looking to pick up another, and he's going to get it. He's 2 for 2 so far, as his teammates are trying to get the pins. Girl is trying to stay alive as they eliminate Team Hunt. We're getting shot by another team further down the hill as well.
Girl was down to 1 shot absolute, but survives, and looks like everybody getting fully loaded for Team Wink, ready for the next action with 17 squads still on the map. You can never feel entirely safe. That's a huge win by them. And with Watson and Newcastle, they're able to fortify any position as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love that comp. If I was playing in this, and with the current bans, that's the comp I'm running. A very versatile comp there, as we just saw them be able to get aggressive and get kills. But they're also going to have the ability to bunker down in the end game when they have to, once they start rotating their way over. As we see Team Doll going to go ahead and hit that ring console to get that ring knowledge, to see that it's pulling on over to Cass. Okay, it's a recent change right there. As you can see, the jump towers that pop on ring consoles, they will not look to take it, but it is a nice little addition that Apex has just added recently.
See, them look like they're rotating the entire different way here. They have the information that they want, and they know there's still so many still on the map right now. Still in the early game, about a minute left in round number 2 at the moment here. And we were talking about compositions. I mean, Gibby, Rampart, and Sparrow. So you got a little bit of movement with the Sparrow. I love that. We talked about them being able to fortify. Well, Rampart does that extremely well, and obviously Gibby can assist with that. And this is what I was talking about. I learned from Deeds is that maps like Stormpoint, you don't mind running a Gibby because you do have that card for the harder rotates. Meanwhile, you also have the Crook in case anybody wants to get froggy. They can leap right on.
Yes, Team Brap now going to go ahead and pop Sweet's Catalyst wall, as they had a very close encounter there past that rock. And now it looks like this other team wants to get aggressive on them, so Rap's going to have to have a good fight here to hold them off from this choke. Potential for KP, but also potential to leave the lobby early, unless they decide to back up.
This could be the spark that they need right now. They're getting some damage. Love the utility that they have. Everybody on the purple shields, by the way. Meanwhile, Team Atlas trying to find their way into some comfortable positioning. You have your Pathfinder getting shredded right now. Shields gone and almost the health as well. They're able to keep them alive, but taking damage like that is not what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Team Atlas or this team that they're shooting across from them is the one that was trying to move in on the choke on Brap's team, but there are now two teams on this choke, so either Brap is going to have some good KP opportunity here, or one of these teams are going to have to decide to take a different choke to rotate out of.
17 squads still on the map here. Once again, whoever's on the opposite side of this engagement, this fight, I mean, they got some decent shots, and they also have a whole lot in the utility belt in order to put down that damage. It looks like the play call is made. Revengeful is going to rotate wide over toward the right side before this circle does end up closing in, and are his teammates able to do the same?
It doesn't look like Atlas is able to get out. He does go down, and it looks like Karev is just going to try and run away as best as possible. But they are in the smallest pocket over here by checkpoint, and they're going to need some way to rotate around. Especially with zone closing, they need to move sooner rather than later. As soon as this closes, the damage is going to be dreadful.
Switching on over to Team Wink in a much different situation. Instead of fighting the zone right now because they played zone early, Team Wink fortified up in this building. They're doing a little bit of peak damage onto as many players as possible. Just, they have plenty of resources, obviously plenty of ammo to work with, and right now it's just about farming as much damage and just sitting and maybe waiting for that next zone that could be moving.
Yeah, as we're going to see that zone pop here. They're in a good spot as we see that zone. It's kind of on Mountain Lift, but also half on Cascade. It's going to be an interesting field as Team Wink is just going to look to try and hold their positioning as best as possible no matter what. As Team Floating now, we hadn't heard his name in a minute, but here he is with his new team in Bree and Eve. All aggressive players, so this is going to be a fun show to watch as it already starts off with a good crack on a Sparrow and a Maggie, and they already had a knock, and they will eliminate Team Brap.
And you see the confidence out of ETH right there. I mean, that was serious. The fact that they had no shields, but knew that the enemy team was weakened, drop that drill, do the entry damage, and then fly on in. It's just confidence and decision-making at its finest. Meanwhile, KCPJ taking a whole lot of damage there. Luckily, they're able to get out with their lives. That could have been deadly.
Luckily, he had some very good movement there with the Pathfinder grapple and was able to make his way out as his team were posted down in both these buildings. I can only assume that people are going to get a little aggressive. They're going to want one of these buildings. We're going to want to play on this side of the zones. You can see already a team right below them trying to move their way in as Jay has some good shots with the car. Going to go ahead and swing here, hitting him mid-air as his Sparrow and Exotica will swing down. Great shots with the car. He's going to be 1 HP, grappling over to finish this up, and he does, and it's Team Zay who goes down.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even know the car could hit like that from that type of range. That was some mid-range car action that you saw, and serious at that. Looks like Team Vosky, another aggressive squad, ends up going down at 14th place as they switch back over towards Team Ka. Just as aggressive as they were earlier, they're also willing to bunker down.
Yeah, as a couple teams go down in the kill feed, Team Vega, Team MSC going down as well. So look at this zone. I have not seen this zone before, and I watch a lot of comp and play a lot of comp. This is a very odd one where a lot of that mountain is taking up this zone, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of teams dying. They're all posted up here at Cascades, but now they're not sure where the zone's going. But Dexican is only focused on the matter at hand, which is wiping up Team Kyrie, and he's able to do so.
And it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. The utility from Newcastle in a shotgun meta is so tough to deal with. You control the fight. You force your opponent to make a bad decision, and oftentimes you're going to win those 1v1s. We saw it right there with our Newcastle player. We also see Team Real getting into a little bit of a fight of their own. They're able to get real time right back up. But with 10 squads remaining, don't want to go down too many times.
And I hate to point it out again, but look at the zone pool in the middle of nothing. No buildings. You better get comfortable playing the mountains there. Whoever ends up on this side of where Real is at, on the high ground, most likely takes this game. But because a lot of teams were not predicting this zone, it's going to be a lot of fighting before we even get a chance to see who that's going to be, as we can already see Team Candy fighting right below Real Time as they're getting full swung. He gets the res off, but can he get it again? He places the Q. He's having some great PK shots, but it's, not quite enough. But he was moving there for a second as Team Candy's eliminated. This is what I think was floating as Team Dexican now move their way in.
And beautiful shots, and that's going to lead to yet another elimination. The triple take, no scope. That's going to be really tough. You're gonna feel that in the morning. Another team goes down. It's going to be Team Real at that one. 7 squads remaining. It could be down to 6 soon as Winks by themselves and also being chased out.
Yeah, a lot of teams posted up in these buildings when he's trying to swing, but the Rampart turret is waiting. And there's another team waiting up top, and Winks just has nowhere to go here. 2 teams piled up on this building, and it looks like they're going to look to get aggressive as it's Team Cub working their way onto the bottom, and there's nobody here. The Rampart team has left. They have vacated the area and moved into another spot, but they don't care. They still want the points, and they'll go ahead and pop the Sparrow. A good shot out of Cub. Getting swung up, and oh my goodness, the awareness to be able to jump in time and get the shot off as his teammates are getting third-party though.
From one fight to another, Team Ka approaches building masterfully. They could have funneled into one area, got into a bad situation, but they attack it from multiple sides, and Ka ends up getting killed because of it. But with zone on their back and a team third party from the front, I don't know if they're able to survive. Team Floating have something to say about that. 3 squads remaining, and I think I saw a peek at the kill leader.
Yeah, I think we got a little peek there from Floating. I mean, who else do you think it is? But they do have Deal, Hackus, and Dexican across the way. Now Dexican's got to be careful to stay alive. There we go. He's got the overflow, so he's okay. And this zone actually pulls a little more left, so Dexican has to move, and Floating is just putting the pressure on to make sure that they can't. And unfortunately, that's the Newcastle going down as we get a little peek at the team that's across from them.
Switching over towards Team Floating here. They're one of the 3 squads remaining, but one team is far from fully loaded. As we saw, they were being punished, and Team Floating want to put the finishing touches on. Meanwhile, they notice a team up high over toward the high ground, and with them sitting in zone, are they able to hold this team out? Is this the positioning that Team Floating ultimately want?
We're going to have to wait and see, but they had Team Dexican in a hard position. It just depends on the other team. We haven't seen much of them. We can see Bree trying to peek over at them, but the other team is also playing very passive. They are in the position to win the game, but can they do it? We're going to have to wait and see.
Let's smash him.
Team Floating, see the pings going down? You know exactly where the opposition is. Some great damage coming out of the 30-30 Peter in round 5 Hill, still closing in. 30 seconds left here, and looks like that team is forced to push up, and this could be some free shots out of ETH and Floating. As the initial damage goes down, they elect to get aggressive Wrecking Ball as well, as everybody's forced to fight.
Team Dexican is now solo, and Floating is actually fighting a Boogie's team. So we got Inferno Creators going out of here with Bree and Boogie. Which team is going to come out on top? We're going to have to find out. As Bree is 1 HP. Boogie's nade is the one that takes her down, as Floating and ETH are now down to a 2v2. And they eliminate Team Boogie, and it just leaves the solo of Miss Adil fighting against Ethan Floating. Now, can the solo clutch it up? We're going to have to find out as Floating is coming in blazing hot with the Pathfinder grapple, and it's Team Floating who take game number 5.
Reminds of the Breaking Bad meme. They can't keep getting away with this. Team Floating. No matter what the situation, no matter what the Team Floating are a threat on the map. They are the real deal.
Yeah, I feel like we've been saying Floating's name all night, but how can we not when he's 3 games now, half of our games so far. I mean, he's just playing phenomenal Apex right now, and I have to assume that he ended up being the kill leader because he had 9. His teammate was closest with 6, so he's securing a lot of money tonight, which is awesome. We love to see it.
Yeah, at this point, we have him on payroll now, getting benefits at this point with the amount of money that is coming in. Shout out again to our sponsors here. Obviously, Nokia, who are having a $25,000 hide and seek charity tournament on November 8th, and then also Rivals with their pay per kill, their PPK tournaments and platform. It's so interesting here. Enjoy Floating.
Yes, for sure. And I'd like to add on with the Rivals. Rivals also has some tournaments. You might have missed the last one, but keep your eye out for future tournaments, as we were having some pay-per-kill tournaments involved instead of just scrims. So those are also interesting. If you missed that, then make sure you don't miss any future ones. As we take a look at this scoreboard, what are you thinking other than the gaping 116 out of Floating?
I mean, it's really hard for our eyes not to pull that way, but I guess if there's anything that we have to give a shout out to, once again, it's probably A1's at number 2 at 78 points. We've seen consistent point gainage out of them throughout multiple different games, which again, after every 2, it's a new team, so multiple different teams. They've found a way to consistently put points on the board. It's just not at the level of Floating. I mean, Floating is just on another level right now. I mean, they're in flow state, flowing, if you will.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that our top 3 right now are the same top 3 after game 1, and we are going into the final game, game 6 here very soon. And Floating A1s and Confusing QT were the original team in the first 2 games that won back-to-back games, and they're still your top 3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the moment you've been all waiting for, your final game and final opportunity for everybody else to climb the leaderboard and get themselves some last-minute cash. Also, your opportunity to get yourself some last-minute coins. If you type in coins in the chat, COINS, 2 different giveaways. After every game, get involved. It's one of the last opportunities to do so as we're getting this lobby ready. Remember, it's every 2 games we switched up teams. So we already switched it up last game. This is going to be the same teams that you saw in game number 5.
Yes, you'll see them for one last time, and we're going to have to see if that top 3 shakes up at all. But I think it speaks volumes to, how great these players are individually. Because as much as this is a team game, in Random Royale, you see the individuality as well, and we can obviously see that with the top 3. We'll see if anybody else can come up and sneak some cash for the final game.
I feel like the final games is where things get maybe a bit normally I would say normal tournaments gets a bit interesting because there's a lot of teams at the lower half of a leaderboard that, to be honest with you, maybe don't have a chance of climbing up to first place and in a normal tournament. So we're switching things up a little bit here. It's $500 per game. So again, every game matters. So sometimes you get that crazy period in the 6th game where some of the teams just don't care about their positioning. No, it doesn't matter what you've done over the last 5 games. If you win right here, you guarantee you and your squad $225. And again, if you're able to put up the most points in that game, not including the winner, you get yourself some more money. You get yourself some on the top of kill leader. It's one of the reasons why I love this format. No matter what you did in game number 1, you can still turn out some money in game 6.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this last game plays out. We talk about match point, and then we love that format in Apex Legends, but it's also a game where we can get very creative and do something like this with $500 paid out per game. Like you were saying, if you were having a rough time, you've also been switching teams at least 3 times today, so you might not have meshed with the first team very well, but maybe you mesh well with the second or the third team and potentially get your hands on some cheddar today.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we go into the final lobby is getting set up here, final opportunity to get a part of that giveaway. But I will say, it's not your final opportunity to get some money or get involved with an amazing community. You can still type in !Discord. You guys are doing a fantastic job at Inferno of just bringing the community together. Love the BIPOC event. This was absolutely insane. I really do thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of that. But then on top of that, you guys are doing this every week with the scrims. You guys are doing tournaments. You guys are doing this consistently. I think you guys want to get involved as far as the audience. So !Discord, get involved. It really is something special that Team Inferno is doing.
Thank you. That was really well put. I mean, I don't know how else to say it other than, yeah, if you want to get involved, it's a great way to just talk to people that have the same interests as you in any sort of aspect of any games. But now back to game 6. Before we get into it, I just did get recon that Sparrow is banned. So no more Sparrow. Your bans ended up being Caustic, Alter, Wraith, Bangalore, and now Sparrow. So going into the last game, we'll see what the comps look like. I am surprised that Newcastle is still in the gameplay here, but at the same time, considering how many Sparrow ults we saw last game, I'm not that surprised either.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of legends that they could have been targeted, but Sparrow is strong, especially in the right hands. Luckily for the rest of the competitors, even throughout 6 bans, 6 games, just some serious bans, you still have a lot of fantastic legends that you still have your hands on. So maybe no Bangalores and no Caustics, but we've seen a lot of Watsons. We've seen a decent amount of Newcastles, which can get a lot of value. Bad Maggie is still on the table, so there may be some legends that have been banned over the course of 6, but with Apex Legends, there's always a pivot.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially we talk about random royale. You got to be, flexible to play anybody. Back in the day, I may sound old now, but when, there was like 6, 8 legends in the game, everyone had their main, right? Like this character is my main. This is who I play all the time. At this point in Apex Legends is no longer the case. You have to be ready to adjust to any sort of role, any sort of character, especially in a random royale with legend bans.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. For a very long time, I was a hard Bloodhound main. Like every time the game loaded in, I was Bloodhound. Everybody knew I was Bloodhound. I was a Bloodhound crutch. But now it's crazy because I'm over here like I always thought Bloodhound was, if not the strongest legend back when I was playing, every single day. And I look now and I'm just like, he's not even anywhere close to the meta. We have evolved.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going into game 6, and I don't think we've seen a pick yet. And who knows? We're probably gonna see a lot of the same here of this comp with Newcastle, Watson, and then Pathfinder and Maggie kind of being switched in there. It is crazy to think about. I myself had a main that was never in meta too often as well in Mirage, and it's just crazy with the amount of legends in the game now that it's like, okay, maybe now they'll play Mirage. No, there's other legends that are still better and still replace that role slightly better than your favorite characters sometimes. So it's a very interesting dynamic.
Just you and Aduvant out there. Like, he used to play Mirage in tournaments, and I was like, yo, why am I seeing a Mirage in the lobby right now? Hey, everybody's viable right now, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the great thing about Apex, every character is unique in their own way and gives, great utility to your team in all sort of aspects of the game. As we slow start to game number 6, but I'm sure it's team's last opportunity to get their hands on some money, so they don't want to risk anything. As so far we've been on Team Dexican, who are just picking up Evo and slowly looting up to get ready to move as round 1 is now closing and we still have all 20 teams up.
You saw KCP's very own Cruel Buckle coming in as a substitute player for that roster on Team Dexicon. Meanwhile, Seer, I think this might be the first time we're seeing Seer being brought out, at least on the broadcast so far. Future Streams wants the recon.
Yeah, I actually love this team of Candy, Shiv, and Future as a good dynamic here. Future, a very good pro player, and Seer did get a buff this season. It wasn't as great as people thought, but we'll see if Future can try and convince some of you guys at home to play a little bit more Seer after this game.
And in case you guys forgot, Bangalore was also one of the legends that were banned, so Shiv, famous on the Bangalore, now switching up to the Mad Maggie. G7 Scout and Peacekeeper, those haven't been banned. Those are still very much in the action. Can't exactly say the same for Team Hunt, as they've been knocked out in 20th place.
Are you asking subtly there for some gun bans? Was that a subtle nod? Asking for gun bans in the future. As Blink will now work his way in with the Maggie Mastiff. He's been comfortable on Maggie all day, and he helps his team get the kills on Team Doll, but it's his and hers that comes in and cleans it up for Blink. This is going to be an interesting dynamic between this team as well. They're over by Shipyard, and it looks like they just wrapped up a fight, but they're getting pressured by another team as we see the Lifeline gameplay come out.
Yeah, I'm sure Kyrie was doing their best Shiv impression, calling for the Lifeline res. It came in very quick, luckily, and so did the 30-30 shots, but the shots also in return. Blink ends up getting their shields shredded here as Team Kyrie, despite having the watts, it looks like enemy team comfortable enough to try to infiltrate here. Pings are going down, trying to find the angle here, his and hers, with some beautiful shots, and they're able to push in. This might be Team Kyrie's fight.
Yeah, only one left, and looks like his nurse went ahead and popped the Lifeline ult to get Blink back up to secure the reset just in case of a third party. But now Kyrie is looking to finish off that team. As you see, a little nice little wall bounce as they're chasing the solo.
Chasing them down, not sure they're going to eventually be able to catch them here, trying to find the angle with the 3x, but they are long gone. Hold on, though. Blink dropping the evac tower. Are we hard committing to this chase? I'm not mad at it.
Also, make sure to type coins in the chat. Shout out Apex for supplying us with the Apex coins and supporting us, as this is the last giveaway. So if you haven't already, type coins in the chat. Don't miss out on it.
See the knocks getting finished here.
Yeah, they go ahead and get the finishes. As I cannot ignore it, but I saw Floating's name in the kill feed getting a knock on Ka, and sure enough, here we are. Floating. Can he do it one more time? We'll wait to find out.
Team Floating. One more game, one more opportunity here to stack their wallet. Especially Floating themselves. Floating is putting in that work, and so is the Peacekeeper from mid-range getting 84, but my gosh, Bree ends up getting caught over towards the bin. That was unfortunate. The environment almost betraying Bree.
Yeah, she had to unfortunately use her ult early in this fight, but I'm confident that this team could still take on this fight even without it, as we see them try and move around, actually, and get maybe a cheeky little angle here on this team that's getting aggressive on them.
Shields up. Team Floating, ready to fight. Just peeking the angle with the Peacekeeper. Love the decision making by Bree. It looks like while that happens, ETH is using that as a decoy to catch an entirely new angle that Gibby is not ready for. The crack goes down, and so did the bubble out of the Gibby. Needs to make sure that they can't double back as they double back themselves. Floating trying to get involved in every single fight, every single player, but it may be biting off a bit more than they could chew as Floating goes down, leaving Bree and ETH as a duo.
Yeah, Floating had a nice angle there, but unfortunately they were ready for it, and that leaves Team Floating a little separate here. We'll see what Bree and ETH can cook up without Floating, as Floating will get full-finned now, as Bree's gonna just try and hide here, but they spot her. She gets a good PK shot. Can she get another? And oh, unfortunately not, but it looks like ETH is already on their way out, as another team actually flies nearby, and they're gonna have to change the route up a little bit as Buckle has a great nade there to start off this fight for Team Dexican, as Mr. Deal will go ahead and get the full fin, and they're looking good on this building so far as Team Floating is eliminated in the kill feed, and he swings in, almost getting some cracks. The R9 trying to do the most on the angles, and does. Gets the knock. It's only one more. That's going to be pretty weak for Dexican to clean up, and that'll be Team Cloaked being eliminated.
Team Floating won't be in another endgame here as they're eliminated a bit early here. Meanwhile, Team Cloaked suffered the same fate as we go down to 16 squads. Team Bosky always known to get aggressive, and especially as that Newcastle shield is moving, Bosky is finding some shots in the back of the opposition, and Awan's trying to find an angle themselves.
Yes, I like this team dynamic as well, as we saw Awan's get some wins early, paired up with Bosky, and Drum Bum is a killer team, as we can see already with the amped up Sentinel shots. Gotta love having the gun back, and as long as you got cells, you can amp that thing up, and 88s, 100s with the one bullet can change a lot for you. They're going to rotate their way in now to the zone. It looks like we may have a Humbert zone as they're working their way there from Stadium. They're full healthy and going to have a potentially good game here if they can find their way in.
Mad Maggie with 800 damage and 3 kills to their name so far. Sentinel in the back pocket, and of course that Peacekeeper that everybody wants and seems like everybody needs. They do have the Gibby, so in those bubble fights, it could get serious. Vosky obviously very confident, and looks like A-Wants with the Mad Maggie wants to do the same. Ping's going down. They know exactly where the opposition is, and this is where they start to take space. This is where they start to widen their influence on the map.
Did get recon that Hackis was having some issues, so Cruel Buckle actually came in and subbed for him. I knew I wasn't tripping when I saw Cruel Buckle, and I was like, wait, this is the first time I've seen you today. So Hackis does unfortunately not get to play game 6, but a great showing out of him nonetheless, as Team Cup is eliminated in the kill feed, and Bosky get a... I like this building for Humbert. I can't see what the rest of the zone is, but this is a nice building to hold. And considering their composition, it's gonna, oh, there we go. It's gonna be a little tough without a Newcastle, but they still have the Gibby for that, as Team CD's gonna go ahead and be having a fight, as Crepstep is dead already, but Zero Cat and Steve are still up. Zero Cat looks for a shot. He half grapples, gets another one off, and Concede finish it off, and oh no, they are eliminated. And let's see by who. It is Real Time. Shout out Real Time, one of our Inferno creators, who go ahead and pick up some KP there as we move on over to Team Kyrie. We're also looking for a fight here. His and hers have the Lifeline ult. Will they go ahead and pop it? Find out. Great PK shot from Blink. And another. Can he get one more? They get the knock. It's one, and Team Boogie is eliminated. Team Kyrie with a great wipe up there. Blink and Kyrie with the PK combinations, and his and hers supporting in with the Havoc Lifeline. You love to see it, and that was a great wipe for them as Team Real is down in the kill feed.
Teamwork clearly making the dream work on that one. That was beautifully played and a beautiful collapse. One that's not done just yet. Not sure that drill went exactly where we the people wanted to, but the R99 shots will. They find their target and they do so quickly. Team Vosky get eliminated.
Yeah, they go down here in this building. Unfortunate, but a great thing for Gav, and I love this team dynamic as well. Ace, we the people, and Gav, a very, very connected person in our community. So again, if you want to play in future tournaments like this, make sure to join the Discord and be active in the community. And maybe one day you'll be on here playing as well, along with people like Ace and we, the people. Team Dexican now taking a lot of thermite damage here. We see Cruel Buckle. They're playing underneath this bridge for the time being on this Humbert zone. It looks like it is going to pull more towards the big buildings. But Newcastle, he still has his wall. They just need to find a place in zone to be able to place it, as we see Team VGUT go down in the kill feed as Cool Buckle will go ahead and full heal.
This game moving a lot faster right now here as we're already down to 9 squads before round number 3 ends up closing in. We have Team Dexicon with a substitute player in Cool Buckle, but same Newcastle and Watson composition that we've seen time and time again. And on a map like this, and on an end game that could be an open space, I like this meta.
Yeah, that looks very, very nice there. As Miss Deal will go ahead and try and heal up for here in this spot. Now we see that zone. It pulls further south over by the buildings, actually, by Old Town. So a lot of these teams that were playing more north of the zone here are going to have to eventually move, as we see Team MSC trying to hold one off. Gets a good charge rifle shot off, but goes down. Cream now looking with the Sheila taking out the Newcastle Q, trying to hold for their team to be able to get the res. As Sang does get it off on MSC. They have their util, but can they stay alive? Maggie falls to the face. Sang's going to be 1 HP. And Team MSC is going to be eliminated. It's Winks that go ahead and take them out. And they're looking to get involved into another fight. Pearl, some shots as well. Cersei gonna go ahead and pick up 2 knocks so far. Get the full bit. It's just the solo now. And Team Dexican are eliminated. And it's Team Wink who come out on top.
My gosh, going down to 7 squads in style, but the action will not stop. Round number 4 zone about to close in here as we switch over towards Team Mary. And Hambino already has the purple shields, a G7, and comfortable on the R99.
Yeah, looking good here with the perp Evo. Both the teammates on blue as well. But if you're confused on why their Watson has 4 little, shield bars, basically they made a change to where if the controller characters are in zone, they basically get the next Evo up. So if you're on gray, you basically have blue. If you're on blue, you basically have perp. So that's kind of why some of these, teams like to pick a good controller character to have on their team. It's just a little added bonus to the abilities a controller character already gives you.
Team Candy slow on the approach. Wait for the right opportunity to strike, and that they do. 2 players lose their shields almost immediately. The recon goes down, and man, the P2020s are out. John Wicking everybody on the rooftop as only 1 player is left, and it looks like they're dealt with. Team Gas don't even know what hit them, but there's another squad here. It's a third party.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a great fight for Team Candy, but they unfortunately get immediately third party by the team down below in Team Mari. And it looks like Team Mari has a team below them as well. As you can see, the zone is pretty close to them, but it's only on the small building. So this is going to be a fight for that building for sure, as we see Team Zay moving their way in as they see the team that's already posted up in that zone, as there's only 5 squads left in round 5.
5 squads with 15 players coming on the map means everybody is fully loaded. Not sure if everybody's as fully loaded as Team Zay though. Purple shields, purple attachments, even a bit of gold as well for Team Zay. They're comfortable. They love their positioning. This could be a game for Team Zay.
Yeah, I remember they had that game where they fell from the heavens and won. Zay's looking to pick up not just 1 win today, but 2. Let's see if they can do it. Right now, they have a good spot in zone. It's going to be hard to predict where this final zone ends up going, but for now, they're going to be chilling for a little while. They're going to pop some ulta cells to try and get their ults back before this endgame, as we see a nice little addition of Watson, where she instantly gets her ult back after a pop of an ulta cell.
And one weapon I saw from Zay that I haven't seen so much in this tournament here was the Nemesis, actually. We've seen a lot of G7s, seen a lot of 30-30s, even some sniper play like the Sentinel. But that was the first time that we saw the Nemesis, and I believe it was Zay that had it in his hands. Meanwhile, Crook, he smells something fishy over toward the outside here. He knows there could be a team that's approaching, and there it is. Information, knowledge is power, as the Seer is able to spot out that team on the outside looking in.
Yeah, we have our second seer here in the lobby. We had future streams earlier, and now we have Rapping who has it as well, giving Crook, I'm sure, some great comms on where they are at. You can use that heartbeat to really tell as they're going to be looking around and trying to figure out where all their possible threats are. For now, they're looking good as we pan back over to Team Zay with the high ground in this zone, but they have to drop down into the middle of the open. Without a Newcastle, we'll see what sort of creative play they can come up with.
And it is entire open play. If you see where the zone is pulling out, you see multiple buildings that surround where that zone is going to end in, but it's no man's land out there. And you mentioned it already. Newcastle can be so valuable in a situation like this. Everybody in this circle, in this map, thought that maybe their building could be safe, but no building is safe right now, or at least in 15 seconds.
Yeah, especially with those Maggies on the board. It's going to make things kind of hard as we get a good look at all of our teams left in this final zone that's about to close. A lot of Watsons, a lot of Maggies, and some Ramparts. It's going to be tough to see who wins this game. I could not tell you at the current moment as Team Weak is going to be slowly going down.
Cersei left as a solo. Loses out on both of their teammates here. And now how do they navigate a situation like this? They're going to try to maybe go for the high ground. They're looking up, but hold on. The circle is closing in. They have to try to go up toward the height. They're able to do so, but end up losing out on their shields because of it. Cersei being targeted right now.
Yes, Team Zay finds a nice spot here in the pocket of the zone. Zay coming down to join his teammates on this wall. A very nice spot to play this game, but they got to watch out for that solo who is on their left, and they recognize it. Can they win this game? We're about to find out as some nades roll down, but the Watson Gen coming in clutch. Not a scratch on them as they watch the Newcastle team go ahead and pop their wall in front of them. They're going to look to try and shoot it out. Some great damage as they look at his and hers team on the lifeline ult, playing their life temporarily over here on this side. As we're having an all-out war as Team Weak goes down.
Love Team Zay's positioning, knowing the map and knowing that was playable as long as you have a Watson. Team Mary the same as the Newcastle ultimate goes down, turning an unplayable situation into a playable one. 3 squads now as Team Zay end up getting eliminated. You see the third mice going down, denying access over towards the end game. Jumping over the roof right now is Hambino, and that was some serious shots and some serious damage coming from the Maggie drill.
I don't know about you, but Team Mari is looking really good to me so far. They have some great damage on the team around them, but now we're at Team Brap, who is opposing side of them, going in a swing in, and Team Mari is dead. It's just a solo, and Team Brap take game number 6.
That was intense. Oh my gosh.
I could not even come close to predicting who was going to win that game. For a second there, I thought Hambino and the boys of Team Mari had that secured, but Team Vrap was across with the Rampart shields, which I like to point out. We started talking about Rampart at the very beginning of today's games, and it came full circle as those walls gave them the opportunity to win that game.
Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody in the macro and understanding every portion of the map right there. You saw 3 different squads out in no man's land. You saw 2 Watson teams try to get creative using like that, almost like that bottom stairs, and just that little bit of cover. They were able to fortify that a bit. Watson. I know one of them was Team Zay, and I apologize, I can't remember what the other team was, but it was great ability to adapt. But eventually, you just got to come out and win those gunfights. You got to stay alive, and Team Rap was able to literally do just that. And as we talked about before, there was money on the line for that one, and not just for who was on the top of the leaderboard. It was $225 given to Team Rap for winning even the final game.
Yeah, and then the team at the very end of there with the most amount of points after Team Vrap also went ahead and took 225 as we look at the leaderboard one last time, and the top 3 remained untouched. We had some close ones, but in conclusion, A1's confusing QT and floating end as our top 3.
Just beautifully done. I mean, floating all game long, or all, I should say all day long, excuse me, the consistent slaying, the consistent high placements. There was literally one time that we saw them drop a little bit earlier. The other 5 times, floating was dominating.
Yeah, for sure. As we got a little recon here that the kill leader for game 6 was Ace. So shout out the boy Ace who got himself some $50. He was fighting for it with floating earlier and he ended up finally securing it in the final game. So good for him. And yeah, congrats to obviously our top 3, but everybody who came away with some prize, or if you didn't come away with some prize, maybe you met some really cool new ranked teammates or some cool new friends. Regardless, I hope that everybody had a great time in this tournament today.
And that's really what this Be the Change Invitational BIPOC tournament was about. Like, obviously, $3,000 is a serious chunk of change, and the format itself not only was fantastic, but needs to be repeated in future events by multiple different organizations. But it's also about bringing people together and networking and maybe, like you said, getting to know a new ranked teammate, or even getting to know a new community. !Discord. There's plenty of like-minded individuals like yourself who, I trust you, I promise you, are tired of solo queuing. Apex is not a solo queue game whatsoever. So that's what this event was really about. And hopefully you guys understand. I hope you guys made a friend or two. And seriously, congratulations to our competitors. And also thank you to our competitors for putting on a show. That was fantastic.
Yes, of course. And since we're getting some thank yous out here now, obviously, again, huge shout out to Nokia and Rivals, our sponsors for this tournament. Huge thank you to them. Nothing possible without them. But the last thank you I also want to give is to our production team. They did a phenomenal job here today. So good round of applause for them. Thank you for, of course, giving us the ability to come up and, cast some great games.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I guess the only bittersweet part about this is that it's coming to an end, I guess. It was a fun tournament. I loved every last minute of it. I kind of wanted to keep going. You know what? Let's run it back. Start all over, run it back. Why don't we? But yeah, thank yous all around. Production, the sponsors, like you said, and then also Team Inferno. I mean, I have a simple rule. If you support gaming, I support you. And right now, they got the sickest merch on the market. If you're not rocking the jersey, the shirts, the apparels, I don't know what you're doing, because if you look good, you game good. So, of course, we want to give a shout out to everybody, but also Team Inferno. And one of the many ways that you can support besides joining the Discord and showing some love is getting your hands on that beautiful merch.
Yeah, and of course, along with that merch, if you want to enter some giveaways that we host of the merch and more Apex coins, make sure to follow Team Inferno _GG on Twitter to make sure you can get yourself involved in some more giveaways. We love to give back to you guys because nothing is possible without our community members. So huge thank you to you guys as well.
Well, I guess we're going to give our final words here. And I'm going to echo what Pri said. Thank you guys for showing out. Thank you guys for being active in the chat, for watching us do what we do. I love cast. I know Pri does well. So thank you for being the audience and allowing us to do what we do. I'm echoing the thank you to the competitors, the production sponsors, and everybody else. And man, let's keep Apex alive, and let's keep doing more of these because they are fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Just final words here from me too. Yeah, thank you again to everyone that was involved, whether you were an admin, a production observer, a player, a spectator, whatever it may be. We want all of you guys to be felt that you're heard and that we know that you're there, and we want to continue to get your guys' voices out and to continue to help you guys connect with as many people possible. None of us are alone at the end of the day. We all have somebody that we can, give a little bit of our weight to and have to rely on. So I want to continue to just emphasize that message in us trying to create this community for BIPOC and in Apex Legends in general as well. So yeah, thank you again to everybody. It was a great night. We had a great set of games and we can't wait till next time.